Chapter 168. Stop spouting nonsense. God Z frowned. If you had investigated the situation earlier, we wouldn't be in such a passive position. Pei Yutong, I'm telling you that we won't win this race. Pei Yutong, you've really done us in. One of the ZH1 racers hissed angrily. No one would participate in a race that they were bound to lose, especially when there was such a huge gap between their levels. What should we do then? Don't be a coward. Pei Yutong broke out in a cold sweat. This was a life-and-death battle between him and Song Yaonan, and he couldn't afford to lose. Whoever lost would not only have to disband his own team, but he would also have to crawl between the opponent's legs. If he really lost this competition, he might as well just die on the spot. If Air Commander isn't here, perhaps we won't lose so badly, God Z muttered solemnly. Air Commander was the core of speed, but they hadn't seen him around. Perhaps they still had a chance. After all, Air Commander had single-handedly dragged Speed into the second level of the international competition. Not all of Speed's racers had been involved. Lin Yen glanced at Pei Yutong. She had tried to persuade him to surrender, but he hadn't been willing to do so. This kid was too overconfident. Soon, it was time for the race. Both teams strode towards the center of the track. Pei Yutong, let's see how you die this time. Song Yaonan sneered coldly at Pei Yutong as he stroked his neck. Pei Yutong felt a little guilty, but he remained stubborn. Why are you so arrogant? We don't know who will win yet. In that case, let's wait and see, Song Yaonan quipped. Very quickly, a well-built and good-looking speed racer said in a slightly dissatisfied tone, how could I compete with a woman in this race? How boring. The speed racer glanced at Lin Yen coldly. You will have the right to brag in the future. Lin Yen grinned at him. I hope that you will go easy on me. Don't make me lose too badly. No. I will show you how dangerous the track is. Oh yeah. Do you know how to race? Do you know where the accelerator, clutch, and brake are? The speed racer quipped. The speed racers chuckled when they heard him. Lin Yen shrugged and didn't continue the conversation. After the preparations were done, the competition officially began. The rule of the competition was a multiplayer match. The winner would be determined by combining the rankings of the two teams. As the signal flag was waved, the ZH1 and Speed members dashed forward in their cars. The sound of the cars was deafening. The ZH1 members' cars were orange, while the Speed members' cars were blue. The two colors, red and blue, intertwined on the track. The battle between the racers could break out at any moment. Lin Yen scanned the racing track and glanced at the anxious Pei Yutong. ZH1 has lost. Ah. Pei Yutong glanced at Lin Yen, looking dumbfounded. Sister Yen, can't you have some hope for me? If I really lose the competition, would rather die. Lin Yen felt a little helpless. She had merely glanced at them and realized that ZH1 and Speed weren't on the same level. She had merely spoken the truth. Third young master, I think you should be mentally prepared. Lin Yen glanced at him helplessly. Chapter 169. Lin Yen scanned her surroundings. Only one member of Speed was lagging behind God Z. The other members were all ahead. If ZH1 could overtake the rest of the Speed members, they would be able to win. However, that wasn't realistic. After all, there was a huge gap between them. Actually, Pei Yutong didn't need Lin Yen to explain the situation to him. He knew what was going on. Sister Yen, ZH1 is going to lose if this goes on. Isn't that the end for me? Is there any way to salvage the situation? Pei Yutong asked anxiously. I don't think so. Lin Yen shook her head. Do you really want me to disband the team and crawl under Song Yaonan's crotch? No, I can't do that. If my big brother finds out, he will beat me to death. He will never let me race again. Pei Yutong's face was drained of color, and beads of perspiration had formed on his forehead. Lin Yen glanced at Pei Yutong strangely. Was this kid afraid that he would disband the team and crawl under Song Yaonan's crotch? Or was he afraid that his big brother would beat him to death? Before Lin Yen could say anything else, the crowd gasped in surprise. Lin Yen and Pei Yutong turned to look at one of the speed members who had crossed the finish line. He had removed his helmet and was waving his hands in all directions. F***CK. A member of Speed has crossed the finish line? What the hell? Pei Yutong gritted his teeth. As soon as Pei Yutong finished speaking, another member of the Speed team crossed the finish line at lightning speed. Pei Yutong's face was ashen as he watched the second member of Speed cross the finish line. This meant that the race was over. Based on the number of participants, even if all of ZH1's members crossed the finish line before the rest of Speed's members, they would still lose. ZH1's God Z had crossed the finish line, but it was meaningless to Pei Yutong. He had been defeated by Song Yaonan. I want to die. Just let me die. Pei Yutong muttered in a daze. Lin Yen tugged at Pei Yutong's arm. Sister Yen, don't stop me. Let me die. My big brother will definitely find out about this. He will definitely beat me to death. Pei Yutong whined. All right then. Lin Yen released her grip. Pei Yutong stared at Lin Yen in shock. Sister Yen, how can you be so cruel? Are you really going to stand by and watch as I walk towards destruction? Lin Yen was speechless. Hadn't he asked her to let go? Sister Yen, you have to save me this time. Pei Yutong sobbed. Only you can persuade big brother. So you don't mind disbanding the team and crawling under Song Yaonan? Lin Yen eyed him curiously. She really hadn't realized that Pei Yutong was a man of his word. He was a man of his word, and he was willing to admit defeat. Lin Yen had underestimated him. That's right. No way. I would rather die than crawl under Song Yaonan's crotch. Pei Yutong suddenly recalled his bet. Lin Yen was speechless. Chapter 170. After the competition ended, the ZH1 team members returned to Pei Yutong's side and stared at him with unfriendly expressions. If Pei Yutong had done his homework, they wouldn't have competed with Speed. Before the ZH1 members could speak, Song Yaonan led the Speed members over. Pei Yutong clenched his fists tightly. He wanted to bite Song Yaonan to death. Young Master Pei Yutong, what's wrong? You look like a dog that has lost its home. It makes my heart ache to see you like this. Song Yaonan sneered coldly at Pei Yutong. Pei Yutong glared at Song Yaonan as the corners of his mouth twitched. He seemed to want to say something, but no words came out of his mouth. After all, the winner was the king, and the loser was the thief. He had already lost this competition, so there was no point in saying anything else. It would only make others mock him even more. When Pei Yutong remained silent, a young man behind Song Yaonan said coldly, Pei Yutong, you haven't forgotten about the bet with Brother Song, have you? What are you waiting for? Are you ready? If you are, crawl under Brother Song's pants. You. Pei Yutong gritted his teeth as his face turned red. Although he had always been suppressed by Song Yaonan, this bet was too big. He wouldn't be able to make a comeback this time. Ha ha. Pei Yutong, what do you think? Should I give you some time to prepare? Don't worry, I'm not in a hurry. You can prepare first. I'll wait for you. Song Yaonan strode forward in front of everyone. Pei Yutong glared at Song Yaonan, veins popping on his forehead. Pei Yutong had set the bet himself. Now that he had lost to Song Yaonan, he could only blame himself for his carelessness. He had failed to understand Song Yaonan thoroughly. When Pei Yutong remained unmoved, the young man beside Song Yaonan sneered coldly. Young Master Pei Yutong, are you trying to renege on your debt? Are you trying to say that you can't afford to gamble? Bullsh**t. When did I ever renege on a bet? Pei Yutong's face darkened as he gritted his teeth. Come on then. I've never been a sore loser. Yeah, what are you waiting for? The young man said. In front of everyone, Pei Yutong bowed slightly. Before Pei Yutong could make a move, Lin Yan pulled him back. Sister Yan? Pei Yutong glanced at Lin Yan in confusion. Why are you in such a hurry? Our bet isn't over yet. Even if you want to fulfill your promise, you have to wait until the bet is over. Oh. Song Yaonan's eyes roamed over to Lin Yan. He studied her intently and grinned. Lass, why? Do you feel sorry for me? Heh. We still have a bet between us. It's better if you feel sorry for yourself first. Lin Yan glanced at Song Yaonan expressionlessly. I'm talking about our bet. The competition between ZH1 and Speed hasn't ended yet. Why? Are you trying to renege on your debt? The young man beside Song Yaonan shouted coldly. Don't be hasty. Lin Yan quipped, Song Yaonan, you were the one who said that our bet would be included in this race. You didn't say that we would have another bet after the competition between ZH1 and Speed. So what? Song Yaonan quipped. Lin Yan grinned. Based on our bet, I can be considered a member of ZH1. Am I right? Song Yaonan didn't retort. This woman was playing word games with him. He wanted to see what she was up to. You can think of it that way, replied Song Yaonan. In that case, according to the rules, I'm the last member of ZH1. Hence, all members of Speed have to race. If anyone reaches the finish line before me, we will lose this race, Lin Yan explained. The ZH1 members couldn't help but burst into laughter when they heard Lin Yan. Was this woman serious when she said those words? There was nothing wrong with the rules. However, there was a prerequisite. If Lin Yan wanted to turn the tables, she would have to beat the entire Speed team. If any member of Speed took the lead, ZH1 would lose the race. Chapter 171. You can't even be considered an amateur racer. Do you think you can beat Speed? One of the ZH1 members frowned at Lin Yan, his eyes filled with disgust. What was this? Was she trying to impress the crowd? What kind of joke was this? Are you even fit to compete with us? One of the Speed members eyed Lin Yan coldly. Lin Yan chuckled softly as she eyed Song Yaonan. Why? Are you afraid? In that case, ZH1 and Speed will be considered a draw. Everyone will go home and no one will suffer any losses. What do you think? To put it bluntly, Lin Yan didn't want to get involved in this mess. It would be best if she didn't have to compete. Lass, you're really cute. Song Yaonan gazed at Lin Yan, his lips curling into a smile. Sure, it's fine if you want to waste time. Competing with Speed is enough for you to brag for the rest of your life. Anyway, you're mine tonight, so I shall fulfill your wish. However, you have to put in more effort when you're with me. Otherwise, I won't let you down. Song Yaonan turned to the Speed members. According to our agreement, she's right. Sorry to trouble you. It will only take a few minutes. All right then. The Speed members reluctantly agreed to Song Yaonan's request. Not only are the racers and teams in the country low class, but even a racing enthusiast is shameless. TSK. The racing industry in the country is really low class. One of the Speed members sneered coldly as he strode back to his car. Do you have an extra uniform? Lin Yan asked God Yan. Sister Yan, why are you still wearing the uniform? Let's go. I'll go with you. Pei Yutong gave Lin Yan a thumbs up discreetly. Pei Yutong assumed that Lin Yan was trying to trick Song Yaonan and the others so that they would let their guard down. Once Lin Yan got into the car, she would dash out of the racetrack with him. Are you even fit to wear ZH1's uniform? One of the ZH1 members hissed coldly. Don't say that. Mumu shook his head at him. Mumu, get her a uniform and a helmet, God Yen instructed. Mumu ran to the logistics room and handed a small uniform to Lin Yen. Lin Yen put on her uniform casually and took the helmet from him. Use my previous car. It has the best performance. God Yen told Lin Yen, don't force yourself. Otherwise, you will die. Thanks. Lin Yen waved her hand and strode towards the track. Sister Yen, wait for me. Pei Yutong hurriedly chased after her. At that moment, all the speed members had boarded their cars and were ready to go. Lin Yen, on the other hand, was sifting through ZH1's car. Sister Yen, find a car. It's time for us to leave. Pei Yutong whispered to her. Cut the crap, snapped Lin Yen. Pei Yutong, this is it. Lin Yen got into Mumu's car. The ZH1 team members outside the track frowned. Oh, there's no problem with that woman's brain, right? The performance of Mumu's racing car is ordinary. The main problem is the tires, the grip is not good, and the rear end is easy to drift. Why? Do you really expect her to race against speed? One of the team members sneered. Any car would be the same to her. Chapter 172. After Lin Yen chose her car, she opened the door and got into the driver's seat. Then, Pei Yutong got in as well. What are you doing? Lin Yen stared at Pei Yutong, who looked confused. Pei Yutong fastened his seatbelt and replied, of course we're running. Sister Yen, didn't you say you wanted to take me with you? Pei Yutong was even more confused than Lin Yen. Judging by her expression, she didn't seem willing to let him get in the car. Did she not intend to take him with her? Lin Yen sighed heavily. How could this kid be so good at adding drama to the drama? When had she ever said that she wanted to take Pei Yutong with her? She hadn't mentioned it at all. Could his imagination run wild? Get off. Lin Yen glared at Pei Yutong and waved her hands. I'm not getting off. Pei Yutong shook his head frantically. Sister Yen, you can't do this. We have to run together. Are you getting off or not? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched as she stared at Pei Yutong. I'm not getting off. I won't get off even if I die. Pei Yutong sounded resolute. All right, you said it. Don't beg me when the time comes. Lin Yen shrugged. She had tried her best to persuade this kid to get off the car, but he was the one who refused to get off. She couldn't blame him then. Even professional navigators, who had undergone special training, wouldn't dare get in her car. Lin Yen ignored Pei Yutong and stepped on the clutch. She glanced at the accelerator and brakes. A second later, the signal flag was waved. As the signal flag was waved, the speed team's cars emitted a pleasant roar. In the blink of an eye, a few cars driven by the speed members left the starting point and disappeared without a trace. Lin Yen was still stepping on the clutch as she wiped the dust off the steering wheel. Sister Yen, what are you doing? Are we running or not? Pei Yutong stared at Lin Yen in confusion. Why are you in such a hurry? I haven't lost yet. It won't be too late to run after we lose the competition. Lin Yen glanced at Pei Yutong. Pei Yutong was taken aback when he heard Lin Yen. He mulled over her words and realized that she did make sense. She hadn't lost yet. Why would he run if he hadn't lost? He would run after Lin Yen lost. He would piss off that bastard Song Yaonan. Sister Yen, even if you want to compete, why don't you take the train? You won't even be able to breathe in the exhaust fumes of the speed team. Pei Yutong exclaimed anxiously. Lin Yen didn't reply. She merely tossed her phone to him. Instinctively, Pei Yutong took Lin Yan's phone, looking perplexed. What did she mean? Sister Yen, I have a phone. I don't need it. Pei Yutong glanced at Lin Yen. You wish. Lin Yen replied impatiently, pick a song for me. It has to be explosive and exciting. Otherwise, I won't feel anything at all. She couldn't bring herself to compete against a team of Speed's caliber. Meanwhile, outside the track, the ZH1 team members stared at the orange car, which had yet to start. They shook their heads. What the hell are we doing? Why are we making that ignorant woman wear our F1 uniform and drive our car? One of the F1 team members sneered disdainfully as he stared at the orange car. Chapter 173. Why? Do you really think that woman will be able to compete with the SP team? It's best that she doesn't start, in case something happens to her on the track. She might even lose her life. Another team member chuckled. It's best if she stays there and waits for the SP team to finish. Let's just take it as a formality. We will leave later. We are unlucky this time. At the same time, in the car, Pei Yutong was speechless. Was she really here to compete? Pei Yutong bowed his head and typed in a few letters. About 4 seconds later, the phone rang. Not bad. What song is it? R from NRNS, Pei Yutong replied instinctively. Sister Yen, why aren't you moving? I'm almost done with the race. Pei Yutong was dumbfounded when he saw Lin Yen listening to the music with her eyes closed. Don't be anxious. The chorus is coming. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled into a mysterious smile as she stepped on the brakes and accelerator. Only you haven't given up yet when everyone else has stopped trying, when all hope has been worn away by setbacks. Where I am, everything has a cause and effect, and nothing comes easy. So tell me. Will the stars align? Will the hand of God intervene to alter the laws of the universe and deliver us from the sins we have committed? I have no scruples, because the country I've built will stand for eternity. Almost as soon as the chorus played, the ear-piercing roar of the car reverberated throughout the stadium. F***CK. Sister Yen, what are you doing? Pei Yutong grabbed his seatbelt hastily. If you don't release the brakes, the rear tires will heat up. It will be too dangerous if we rush out. However, Lin Yen acted as though she hadn't heard Pei Yutong. She straightened her body and the smile on her face vanished without a trace. Lie down, Lin Yen said. Huh? Pei Yutong was startled. Before Pei Yutong could snap back to his senses, Lin Yen pushed the back of his seat and made him lie down instantly. Lin Yen retrieved a plastic bag from the car and threw it at Pei Yutong. Pei Yutong held the plastic bag as he stared at Lin Yen in shock. What was she doing? After a few seconds, the rhythm of the music reached its climax. At that moment, Lin Yen finally let go of the brakes. Swoosh! The orange-red racing car was like an afterimage as it flew out in an instant. As Lin Yen had been stepping on the brakes, the rear wheels of the car had lost their grip on the ground. The rear of the car tilted at a beautiful angle, reducing air resistance instantly. Wow! Pei Yutong vomited instantly. Fortunately, he still had the plastic bag that Lin Yen had thrown at him. Ah! Pei Yutong's face was as white as a sheet. This was more unbearable than a roller coaster ride. He felt as though he had been thrown out of the car. Sister Yen Yen. Pei Yutong shuddered as he stared at Lin Yen in horror. What was she doing here? Was she going to kill herself with him? However, Lin Yen seemed to have been cut off from the rest of the world. All she could see was the racetrack. I want to get out of the car. I'm going to crawl between Song Yaonan's legs. I'm going to die. I was wrong. Pei Yutong almost fainted from the strong force of the car and the impact of the speed. Chapter 174. Whoosh! As Pei Yutong spoke, the orange-red car reached its maximum speed. Even the car was shaking violently, and the rear wheels were slipping. The car was like a python that swam swiftly in Lin Yan's hands. Meanwhile, outside the track, the ZH1 team members sprang to their feet as they stared at the orange car that was approaching speed. Their eyes were filled with indescribable shock. That woman is crazy. She has a death wish. One of the ZH1 team members exclaimed anxiously. This speed had already reached a crazy level. Mumu's racing car didn't have a strong grip on the ground to begin with, and with the woman constantly stepping on the brakes and accelerator, the rear wheels had already heated up, causing their grip to weaken. If they made any mistakes, it would be impossible for them to survive at such a speed. The car would be destroyed and the people would die. God's face darkened as he stared at Lin Yan's car. What was that woman doing? Was she racing or courting death? She has completely abandoned the brakes. Mumu frowned deeply. Without the brakes, she really didn't know anything about racing. Otherwise, how could she have dared to control the car like that? She's going to die, exclaimed one of the ZH1 team members. Oh no. God's face was solemn. There were 3 corners ahead of them, and without the brakes, they were afraid that something bad would happen. However, given the current circumstances, who could stop that car? No one could. Now, there was nothing that could stop that racing car. Describing it as a runaway wild horse wasn't enough to describe it. Song Yaonan was dumbfounded as well. Even if she couldn't win, she shouldn't be courting death. We're almost at the corner. Mumu yelled anxiously. The speed team members were the first to reach the corner. Every car driven by the speed team would activate the brakes when they reached the corner. They would then use the brakes and the speed of the car to tilt and drift. The speed team had just finished drifting when Lin Yan's car caught up to them. Based on Lin Yan's speed, it would take her at most 10 seconds to reach the curve. Pei Yutong was gradually getting used to it. He no longer felt as nauseous as before. When Pei Yutong saw the bend in front of him, he yelled anxiously, "Sister Yen, hurry. It's a bend. Slow down. F***ck." However, Pei Yutong realized that Lin Yan didn't care about him at all. She continued to do whatever she wanted, as though she was immersed in her own world. Her face was expressionless, and her eyes were cold and distant. Pei Yutong's face turned ashen when he saw that they were about to reach a bend. Swish! Lin Yan turned the steering wheel. The orange-red racing car glided along the curve of the road. Lin Yan used the same maneuver to complete the next 2 turns. Originally, these 3 bends needed to be stopped 3 times in between, so they had to go through them in 3 different ways. However, when it came to Lin Yan, her movements were as smooth as flowing water. It was as though she had passed 3 fatal turns in a row. Visually, she didn't seem to have stopped at all. Chapter 175. The ZH1 members watched the scene unfold before them. One of the ZH1 team members rubbed his eyes and stared blankly at the orange-red racing car that had already passed the 3rd bend. Instead of slowing down, it was speeding up. How? How is that possible? 3 turns in one go. She didn't rely on the braking system. She must be lying. What kind of maneuver is that? Mumu's jaw dropped in disbelief. Is that even possible? God rose to his feet, his eyes filled with shock. He had never seen such maneuvers before. Not even once. On the track, one of the speed members heard a deafening roar behind him and instinctively glanced at the rearview mirror. F***ck. With just one look, the speed member's expression changed drastically. Through the rearview mirror, he could see that Lin Yan's car was racing like a wild beast on a grassland as it sped towards them. What is she doing? The speed member cursed as he hurriedly tried to shake Lin Yan off. Before he could do anything, an orange-red light flashed and Lin Yan's car disappeared into the distance. All that was left was a plume of exhaust in the air. Then, Lin Yan's car overtook the second speed member's car. F***ck. What the F***ck? Pei Yutong, who was dumbfounded, stared at Lin Yan. What the hell was going on? Pei Yutong couldn't describe what he was feeling right now. What had he just seen? Daddy. How did you do that? What kind of maneuver was that? Pei Yutong asked Lin Yan in shock. However, Lin Yan continued to ignore him. Daddy. Say something. Pei Yutong was unwilling to give up when Lin Yan ignored him. Shut up. Lin Yan finally snapped impatiently. Okay. Pei Yutong nodded furiously. Lin Yan sped past the third speed car. She's catching up? One of the speed team members was taken aback. However, he didn't think too much about it. He sped up and used his car to block Lin Yan's orange car. As long as they could stop Lin Yan and allow their teammates to reach the finish line, they would win. As long as any of the speed members were in front of Lin Yan, she would definitely lose. You want to play this game with me? Lin Yan sneered coldly when she noticed that the car was moving in the same direction as her. Then, she dashed towards the back of the car. No, no, no. Sister Yan, Daddy, who do you want to die with? Pei Yutong panicked. At this speed, none of them would survive, including the speed member in front of them. Lunatic. Motherf asterisk Kerr. This lunatic. As Lin Yan's orange car sped toward them, the speed team members' faces fell as they cursed loudly. When that woman did this, he didn't even have the time to give way. His mind went blank as the orange car was about to collide with him. All he could do was step on the accelerator and widen the gap between him and Lin Yan. However, the orange car was too fast and seemed to be out of control. He couldn't widen the gap between him and Lin Yan. Chapter 176. Whoosh. Just as the orange racing car was about to collide with the speed team's car, the front of the racing car suddenly swerved to the left like a snake. The front of the racing car was pulled to the limit. A second later, the orange car overtook the speed racer's car and swerved to the right without any hesitation. The car brushed past the speed racer's car as Lin Yan overtook it. After Lin Yan overtook them, the speed driver slowed down and stopped at the rightmost lane. The speed team member pushed the car door open and got out. He shouted angrily, "Are you trying to kill me?" However, the orange car was nowhere to be seen. There was only the pungent smell of exhaust gas in the air. Outside the track, all the ZH1 members, including God, were rooted to the spot. Perhaps the speed racer hadn't been able to see how Lin Yan's orange car had overtaken them. However, they had seen everything clearly. The word breathtaking wasn't enough to describe the moment when Lin Yan had overtaken him. No one would have dared to do that on this track. Furthermore, while it looked like he was gambling with his life, every single detail was flawless. It was impossible for any mishaps to occur. How was she driving? She had become one with her car. The moment she overtook the other car, the orange-red car had become a part of her. Other than breathtakingly perfect, there was no other way to describe it. There was only one speed racer left on the track. The orange-red racing car had already caught up to them. What is that? The last speed racer had no idea what had happened. All he saw was a flash of red light, and Lin Yan had overtaken him. The last remaining speed racer was dumbfounded when he saw the orange-red racing car cross the finish line in an instant and make use of its inertia to stop the car. Are you kidding me? The last speed racer had reached the finish line after Lin Yan. He stopped his car and stared at the orange car in disbelief. At this moment, the wheels of the orange racing car were still steaming. ZH1's team members were still in a daze. What do you mean? One of them asked in a trembling voice as he gazed at the orange car. We won. We won. We really won. We actually beat speed. How could this happen? Who is that woman? How could she be just a racing enthusiast? This woman's racing style is similar to Lang Mang's. Could she be related to Lang Mang? Lang Mang has a few mysterious disciples. Could she be one of them? Lin Yan opened the door and got out of the car. Lin Yan glanced at the wheel, which was still smoking, and grinned. It's a so-so. F***CK. Sister Yan, Daddy. How did you do that? How did you do that? Pei Yutong kicked the door open and rushed to Lin Yan. Lin Yan glanced at his pale face and decided not to waste her breath. Even if she explained everything to him, it would be useless. This wasn't something that could be learned easily. If an ordinary person were to try this, they would die if they weren't careful. Chapter 177. The speed team members glanced at each other before turning to Lin Yan. They were at a loss for words. Don't be so arrogant. The competition isn't over yet. One of the speed team members bellowed, our captain, Air Commander, will be here soon. Lin Yan glanced at the other speed team members. Oh. Before the speed team member could respond, ZH1 and Song Yaonan ran over. Hey, isn't this young Master Song? Why do you look like a stray dog? How pitiful. Pei Yutong sneered coldly when he saw Song Yaonan. Song Yaonan glanced at Lin Yan and Pei Yutong gloomily. Calm down. Captain Air Commander will be here soon. We haven't finished the competition yet. Air Commander Lin Yan fell into deep thought. Speed's captain had met her disciple, Lang Mang, during the second level of the international competition. They had competed together, but Lang Mang had crushed him. However, Air Commander's control of the racetrack was much better than the speed team members. They weren't on the same level. After all, Speed's captain had single-handedly dragged them into the second level of the international competition. However, to Lin Yan, competing with Air Commander was no different from competing with Speed's members. She wasn't interested at all. Air Commander is here too. God of Thunder glanced at one of the Speed team members with a frown. They hadn't seen Air Commander earlier, so they had assumed that he wouldn't show up. However, the Speed team member had said that he would be here soon. Why? Are you afraid? Song Yaonan sneered coldly. I thought that Air Commander wouldn't have to compete, but it seems like he has to. ZH1's team members' hearts sank when they heard Song Yaonan. Speed's core member was Air Commander. If Air Commander competed, how could Lin Yan compete? But we have already finished the competition. Air Commander isn't here, so we can't be blamed, one of the ZH1 team members said to Song Yaonan. According to your logic, the race was already over, so why can this woman continue to compete on the track? That's the rule, the speed team member retorted. Let's wait for your captain then, Lin Yan replied nonchalantly. Lin Yan replied nonchalantly and waved her hand dismissively. Go and get some rest. Call me when your commander arrives. Lin Yan didn't turn back as she strode to the arena. ZH1's members hurried after Lin Yan. Sister Yan, wait for me. Pei Yutong had wanted to argue with Song Yaonan, but Lin Yan had already left. Hence, he hurried after her. A moment later, in the preparation area, Lin Yan picked up a random magazine and sat on the stool to read it with relish. ZH1's team members approached Lin Yan. That, Miss Lin, one of the ZH1 members grinned at Lin Yan. Lin Yan put down the magazine and asked curiously, what happened? Miss Lin, I think there might have been some misunderstanding between us before, Team 1 said seriously. What misunderstanding? Lin Yan glanced at them, unsure of what they were trying to say. Before this, I thought that Miss Lin was just an amateur racing enthusiast. I didn't expect Miss Lin to be so good. With Miss Lin's control of the racetrack and the level of control you have over your car, I think it wouldn't be a problem for you to join one of the top teams in the country and participate in the third level of the international competition. Chapter 178. The third level of the international competition? Me? Lin Yan was startled. She wasn't really interested in the third level of the international competition. Yeah. God nodded and said, I watched Miss Lin's race. If you're interested in joining the team, it wouldn't be a problem. If this woman was willing to join ZH1, they would be in the top 5 when they entered the third level of the international competition. They might even be in the top 3. Sister Yan, you're amazing. Pei Yutong scurried over and gazed at Lin Yan intently. Sister Yan, join my team. I'm sure you can lead my team to the top. Your team? God glanced at Pei Yutong. Your team doesn't even qualify for the second-tier competitions in the country. If you let Miss Lin join, it will be a waste of talent. However, it will be different if Miss Lin is willing to join Team 1. Team 1 is qualified to compete in the third-tier international competition. Miss Lin just needs to train with us for a while. I am confident that Miss Lin can compete with us in the third-tier international competition. To ZH1, the third level of the international competition was considered a grand competition. If Lin Yan loved racing, she wouldn't give up on the third level of the international competition. That seems to make sense. Pei Yutong fell into deep thought. Lin Yan grinned and picked up the magazine. She wasn't interested in the third level of the international competition. She was sick of the first level, let alone the third level. Besides, she had been banned from competing. Of course, the ban wasn't the main reason. She wasn't interested. She would be like a well-trained adult beating up a child. She couldn't bring herself to do something like that. Miss Lin, was it luck that you made 3 consecutive turns and swung left and right to overtake the other car? Or, one of the ZH1 team members glanced at Lin Yan and asked cautiously. Although it was a little rude to ask this question, and no matter how he looked at it, it couldn't be luck. If passing the first curve was luck, could it be that passing the other 2 curves was also luck? There were too many details that had to be taken care of at the end. A single mistake could result in a car crash. However, Lin Yan had managed to overtake the car smoothly. It didn't look like luck at all. But even so, 3 consecutive turns and overtaking was too amazing. If it wasn't luck, it would be too terrifying. Luck? Perhaps. Lin Yan grinned and gave him an ambiguous answer. What luck? How could it be luck? F***CK. You guys weren't in Sister Yen's car. I was in the passenger seat the entire time, so I saw everything clearly. If it was luck, Sister Yen and I would have been killed. Pei Yutong looked agitated. Pei Yutong had watched as Lin Yan operated the car crazily. Her eyes were calm and focused. Luck, my foot. Alright, let's not talk about this. Deity suddenly said, Miss Lin, you may not know Air Commander well. I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to win against him later. I've seen some video information about Air Commander's racetrack. You can take this opportunity to learn more about him. Chapter 179. There's no need for that, replied Lin Yan. There's no need for that? God was taken aback. Didn't you say that it would be difficult for me to win? Since I can't win, I don't want to waste my time. Lin Yan grinned at him. Captain, what Miss Lin said does make sense, Mumu told God. Before Deity could say anything else, he heard a bang and the door of the preparation area was kicked open. At that moment, a tall, fat man with both hands in his trouser pockets swaggered in. Wow, not bad. The fat man scanned the crowd before his eyes landed on Lin Yan. I didn't know that Pei Yutong had found an expert. Song Zi? Pei Yutong frowned when he saw the fat man. His name was Song Zi, and he was Song Yaonan's older brother. He was famous in the capital city for being a spoiled brat. A few years ago, he had been involved in a fight at a bar. Apparently, they had fought over a girl and injured the other party. Song Zi had disappeared for a few years after that. Who would have thought that he would resurface? Big brother, slow down. Wait for me. Song Yaonan chased after him with a dozen young men. Useless thing. Song Zi eyed Song Yaonan coldly. You can't even handle a woman. Why do I have a useless brother like you? Song Yaonan, who looked aggrieved, muttered softly, You can't blame me. Song Zi sneered coldly as he stroked his chin and studied Lin Yan. This girl looked pretty and familiar. She looked like an actress, but she was much prettier. He pointed at Lin Yan. Lass, you don't have to accompany my brother tonight. You just have to serve me. What did you say? Pei Yutong was enraged. Lin Yan tugged at Pei Yutong and grinned at Song Zi. You have to beat me first. Wow, you are so arrogant. Do you think you are good at racing? Do you feel a little arrogant after beating a few speed members? You don't even care about the Air Force? Song Zi's lips curled up slightly. The speed members' faces darkened, but they didn't say anything. Even they felt embarrassed. The four of them had been on the track at the same time, but they had been kicked out by a woman. No matter how angry they were, they didn't have the face to say anything. It was too embarrassing. Not only had they embarrassed Speed, but they had also embarrassed their captain, Air Commander. Girl, Air Force won't even need a minute to send you off the track. You're an adult now, you should know your place, Song Zi said. That's impressive. Lin Yan nodded. All right then. Get the Air Force here. Miss Lin, don't be rash. At that moment, God hurried forward and whispered to Lin Yan, Miss Lin, I understand how you feel, but you have to know something first. What is it? Asked Lin Yan. Your opponent is Speed's captain, Air Commander. He once fought against Lang Mang, one of the disciples of the racetrack's Grim Reaper. God frowned. That's impressive. What happened next? Lin Yan grinned. The result isn't important. What's important is that Air Commander made it to the top 8 of the second level of the international competition. Originally, Speed wouldn't have qualified to participate in the second level of the international competition. However, because of their captain, Air Commander, he managed to elevate Speed's level. Chapter 180. God told Lin Yan solemnly, Air Commander didn't just qualify for the second level of the international competition. He also placed 8th. Miss Lin, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Lin Yan wasn't dumb, so she understood what God was trying to say. He was trying to tell her how terrifying Air Commander was and how good he was at controlling the racetrack. Besides, Air Commander mentioned in an interview that he knew Lang Mang's coach, the racetrack's Grim Reaper. He even learned a few tricks from him. He's really scary, Moo muttered softly. You know the racetrack's Grim Reaper? Lin Yan was perplexed. When had she ever met Air Commander? She didn't know him at all. How had he learned a few tricks from him? Where had he learned them? In her dreams? Miss Lin, there's no need for us to be angry with them. Previously, we lost one race, and now, you've won another one. According to the rules, this is a draw. We can delay the last race indefinitely. This way, there won't be a winner. Miss Lin, you and Pei Yutong won't have to pay any price. God analyzed the situation to Lin Yan. That's what I meant. Pei Yutong nodded eagerly. Both he and Lin Yan had agreed to the bet with Song Yaonan. However, based on the current situation, they hadn't lost. According to the rules, this was a draw, so there was no need for them to pay any price. Miss Lin, only a fool would bet on a bet that he knows he will lose. As long as we use the rules reasonably, we will be invincible. The rules of this race have never stated when the next round can be carried out after a tie. Deity smiled. Actually, Song Yaonan and Pei Yutong had been too arrogant. Both Song Yaonan and Pei Yutong had believed that they would win. Thus, they hadn't set the rules for overtime after a draw. Coincidentally, their arrogance had allowed God to find a loophole in the rules. God Yan and Lin Yan analyzed the situation. There were two main reasons. If Lin Yan and Air Commander were to compete, she wouldn't be able to win. She would definitely lose. In that case, they would lose the competition and Lin Yan's bet. Would they really have to let Lin Yan lose the competition and spend the night with Song Yaonan or Song Zi? God didn't care if Pei Yutong would crawl under Song Yaonan's crotch and disband his team. It had nothing to do with him. Even if Pei Yutong lost and fulfilled his end of the bet, he deserved it. He shouldn't implicate Lin Yan and Pei Yutong. Huh, what's wrong? You don't dare to compete anymore? Why are you so cowardly? Hearing Deity's analysis, Song Zi suddenly sneered. Hearing Song Zi's words, Deity said lightly, "Is your provocation useful to us? As long as we don't want to, we can extend the overtime indefinitely. You will never win against Miss Lin and me. Cowards are not cowards. It's meaningless to say that. We are a racing team, and we only act according to the rules." Chapter 181. Why are you talking so much? Aren't you just a coward? You don't even have the guts to compete. How can you boast? Song Zi's face darkened. If they followed God's plan, they wouldn't be able to beat ZH1, let alone that woman. If they refused to compete, how could they win? Ha ha. What a bunch of cowards. Song Zi smirked. Pei Yutong, you're not a man at all. You've disgraced a man. Pei Yutong pursed his lips and replied nonchalantly, "So what? I won't compete with you during the overtime. Are you angry? I'm going to piss all of you off." It didn't matter if he lost, but he couldn't drag Lin Yan down with him. If he didn't compete, no one would suffer a loss. Their opponent was the famous Air Commander, who had made it to the top 8 of the second level of the international competition. There was nothing wrong with his brain. Why would he participate in a competition that he was bound to lose? Ha! Song Zi took a few steps forward and stood beside Pei Yutong. His plump palm gently patted Pei Yutong's right cheek. Little B** starred, "You are really crafty. F** CKU. Pei Yutong glared at him furiously, veins popping on his forehead. He wanted to hit him, but he restrained himself. He had promised Big Brother that he would never fight again. Otherwise, he would have to bear the consequences himself. Why? You want to fight back? Why don't you try? Song Zi continued to pat Pei Yutong's face. Before Pei Yutong could respond, Lin Yan sprang to her feet and glared at Song Zi. "I didn't say that I wouldn't compete." Song Zi, who was startled by Lin Yan's words, stopped and glanced at her. "All right, you said it. I didn't break the rules and force you to compete." "Of course," replied Lin Yan. ZH1's team members and Pei Yutong's expressions changed. Was Lin Yan crazy? They could have used the rules of the track to endlessly extend the overtime. Sigh, God's God stared at Lin Yan and sighed softly. Lin Yan was too impulsive. She had fallen into their trap. Song Zi and the others couldn't wait for Lin Yan to agree. "Sister Yan, are you crazy?" Pei Yutong gazed at Lin Yan in shock. "Our opponent is Speed's captain, Air Commander." However, it was pointless to say anything now. Lin Yan had already agreed to it, and someone like Song Zi wouldn't give her a chance to change her mind. Song Zi immediately took out his phone and dialed a number. "Hello, Air Force, when are you arriving?" "All right, it's in Team 1's preparation area. Come on in and prepare for overtime." With that, Song Zi hung up the phone. After a few minutes, there was a knock on the door. Song Yaonan hurried forward and opened the door to the arena. A young man, who was wearing a blue Speed uniform and holding a helmet in his hands, strolled into the arena. "Captain." When they saw the man, the rest of the Speed members quickly surrounded him. They looked extremely aggrieved, like children who had done something wrong. They didn't dare to look at the man directly. Air Commander had short hair and looked very spirited. However, he looked a little unhappy at the moment. "What's wrong? I heard that the 4 of you lost to a girl." Air Commander glanced at the Speed members. This was a huge humiliation for Air Commander and Speed. Chapter 182. "Captain, I'm sorry. We were careless. If you could give us another chance." One of the Speed team members gritted his teeth. Air Commander wasn't the only one who felt humiliated. "Give you another chance?" Air Commander sneered. "On the track, a win is a win, and a loss is a loss. If you lose the race, you can point at your opponent and say, if you have the guts, run another race. Was it my fault just now? The Speed team members were rendered speechless by Air Commander's rebuttal. Just as Air Commander had said, on the racetrack, a win was a win, and a loss was a loss. The racetrack only cared about the results. Who would care if you had performed poorly or made any mistakes? I'm really disappointed with your performance this time. 4 of you surrounded a girl on the track, but she still overtook you. Looks like I'll have to think about changing to a new group of team members, Air Commander said coldly. The Speed team members lowered their heads in unison. Indeed, Air Commander was right. The 4 of them couldn't beat a girl on the track. If word got out, alright, Air Commander, don't blame them. This was an exhibition race, not an official race. Besides, the girl isn't famous. It's understandable that they underestimated her and didn't go all out. Song Zi chuckled. The rest of the Speed members looked at Song Zi gratefully. They felt that what Song Zi said was right, and it stabbed straight into their hearts. If they had known that the girl was capable, they wouldn't have let their guard down. They would have given it their all the moment they had left the starting line. They wouldn't have given the girl a chance. Song Zi, don't worry. Although my team member made a small mistake, the outcome will be the same. We won't lose this race, Air Commander assured Song Zi. Haha. Of course I believe in you. You are one of the top 8 in the second level of the international competition. How could there be a mishap? Song Zi chuckled. By the way, Air Commander, you mentioned that you know Lang Mang. When are you going to introduce him to us? I'll make sure that you're satisfied with the arrangements, Song Yaonan said with a grin. Haha. Lang Mang is my most respected rival. If there's a chance, I might even be able to invite the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Air Commander grinned. Really? Song Yaonan was shocked. Air Commander Almighty, did you say that you knew him? Of course. Air Commander glanced at Song Yaonan. I remember that it was during the second level of the international competition. It was Lang Mang's first time participating in a large-scale competition. His master, the racetrack's Grim Reaper, came to cheer for him. You don't know how much the racetrack's Grim Reaper admires me. She said that I have more potential than Lang Mang and wanted to take me in as her disciple. However, I didn't agree. Air Commander's God. Song Yaonan was shocked as he gave Air Commander a thumbs up. Awesome. Lin Yen was rendered speechless by Air Commander's words. This fellow sure knew how to brag. She didn't even know him, yet he said that his potential was above Lang Mang's. She even wanted to take him as her disciple, yet he rejected her? How shameless could he be? Air God, let's talk about this later. Let's win this competition first, and then I'll arrange the banquet, Song Zi said. The most important thing right now was overtime. Everything else could be discussed during the banquet. Chapter 183. I'm curious to know who beat 4 of my team members. Air Commander stood rooted to the ground as he surveyed the ZH-1 team members and Pei Yutong coldly. It's me. Lin Yen waved her hand and gestured for the ZH-1 team members to move away. Soon, they retreated to a corner. Lin Yen stared at Air Commander with a stoic expression. Just for fun? Ha ha ha. You have a death wish. If it hadn't been for this race, would you have competed with our captain? You can brag about it for the rest of your life. One of the ZH-1 team members mocked Lin Yen. However, the moment Air Commander saw Lin Yen, the smile on his face froze. His eyes were filled with disbelief and astonishment. Very quickly, Air Commander frowned deeply. He shook his head and rubbed his eyes with his hands. Was he hallucinating or seeing things? Air Commander glanced at Lin Yen again. Air Commander's eyes landed on Lin Yen, and his pupils constricted. He instinctively took a few steps back in an exaggerated manner. How could this be? How could this happen? Was he dreaming? That woman. That face. The racetrack's Grim Reaper. Air Commander gasped as he stared at Lin Yen. Even though the racetrack's Grim Reaper had deliberately concealed his appearance every time he appeared, and some people didn't even know whether he was a man or a woman, or whether he was handsome or ugly, Air Commander had seen the racetrack's Grim Reaper's true appearance. Back then, Lang Mang had participated in the second level of the international competition for the first time. It had also been his first time entering the second level. The racetrack's Grim Reaper had accepted Lang Mang's invitation to watch the race. Although many professional racers knew that the racetrack's Grim Reaper had appeared, there were many people in the VIP area. Hence, no one knew who the racetrack's Grim Reaper was. After the race, Air Commander had been curious about the racetrack's Grim Reaper, so he had secretly followed Lang Mang. In the end, in a separate preparation room, Air Commander saw with his own eyes that Lang Mang was calling a young girl master. Everyone knew that Lang Mang only had one master, and that was the racetrack's Grim Reaper. At that moment, Air Commander couldn't believe his eyes. The racetrack's Grim Reaper was actually a female racer. She was so young and beautiful. Air Force had even taken a photo of Lang Mang and the racetrack's Grim Reaper in the preparation room. As for the girl in front of him, Air Commander was 100% sure that she was the girl he had met in Lang Mang's preparation room. Air Commander had even memorized his conversation with the racetrack's Grim Reaper. The young and beautiful girl pointed out Lang Mang's series of problems on the racetrack in a few words. Lang Mang listened patiently to the side, recording it with a pen and paper from time to time. He never retorted. "Captain." The speed members called out to Air Commander when they saw him in a daze. "What the hell?" Air Commander pondered silently. He couldn't understand why the racetrack's Grim Reaper would appear in such a place. More importantly, his opponent was Lang Mang's master, the racetrack's Grim Reaper. What a joke. He would never race against the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Not in this lifetime. Chapter 184. Captain, I know that it would be an insult to your reputation to have such a person as your opponent, one of the speed team members spoke up. However, before the speed member could finish his sentence, Air Commander was enraged. In front of everyone, he gave the member a tight slap across the face. "Damn it, shut your stinky mouth." Air Commander pointed at the team member and shouted. The speed team member, who had been slapped by Air Commander, stared at him in bewilderment. Why had his captain slapped him? At this moment, the members of Team 1 were baffled by Air Commander's strange behavior. Could Air Commander be so furious because Speed had lost to Lin Yen? Let's get on the track. Lin Yen tossed the magazine aside and rose to her feet. Her eyes landed on Air Commander as she spoke. Although ZH-1's team members didn't wish for Lin Yen to compete with Air Commander, there was no turning back now. Hence, they had no choice. Air Commander, I'm looking forward to your performance. I bet this is going to be a one-man show. Ha ha ha. Song Zi chuckled at Air Commander. Air Commander shook his head frantically when he saw Lin Yen stand up. You just raced with my team members, so you must not have rested well. Why don't we postpone the race after you've rested? What do you think? Everyone was taken aback by Air Commander's words, especially Song Zi and Song Yaonan. They couldn't understand him. What did it have to do with them whether Lin Yen had rested well or not? Why was Air Commander so competitive? Sure. Pei Yutang nodded hastily and told Air Commander, in that case, we shall postpone the race. Yeah. Brother, you are right. A race should be fair. Air Commander nodded repeatedly. Before Pei Yutang could respond, Lin Yen interjected, there's no need. Since we are already here, let's end this quickly. I don't have the time to run back and forth. Don't you want to reconsider? Cold sweat trickled down Air Commander's forehead. What kind of joke was this? She wanted him to race with the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Air Commander, since they don't know what's good for them, you don't have to worry about the spirit of competition. Just do as she said, end it quickly, Song Zi said impatiently. When I first arrived, I understood the situation. Now that it's a draw, I can refuse to have a time trial on the spot. I have the right to push back the time, Air Commander continued. One, Pei Yutong, and the others looked at Air Commander strangely. What did he mean? Pei Yutong and the others weren't the only ones who couldn't understand their captain's thoughts. Why did they have to push back overtime for no reason? I'm sorry, but the rules have been clarified. Besides, the organizers, Pei Yutong and Song Zi, have also stated that the match will take place in a few days. Lin Yan studied Air Commander intently. Actually, Lin Yan was puzzled. She had never shown her face in public before. Could Air Commander have recognized her? Otherwise, why wouldn't he be willing to compete with her? No matter what, Air Force wanted to postpone the match, but Lin Yan wouldn't agree. She didn't have the time to attend the next match. Since she was already there, she had to finish it within the next few days. Chapter 185. Alright, I admit defeat then. Air Commander gazed at Lin Yan helplessly. Admit defeat? As soon as Air Commander finished speaking, everyone in the preparation room was dumbfounded, especially the speed members. Was their captain crazy? Was he actually admitting defeat? If you admit defeat, of course. We will win this race. Lin Yan nodded at Air Commander. The race had to be completed within the next few days. However, if Speed's captain admitted defeat, the situation would be different. Lin Yan would win the race. Air Commander, what are you doing? Admit defeat? Song Zi glared at Air Commander. Was he trying to fool them? Sorry, I haven't been feeling well recently, so I won't be able to compete. Therefore, I admit defeat, Air Commander replied matter-of-factly. Rather than being beaten up by the racetrack's Grim Reaper, he would rather admit defeat. Actually, it would be a great honor for Air Commander to lose to the racetrack's Grim Reaper. However, there had to be a prerequisite for everyone to know that he had lost to the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Other than Air Commander himself, no one would know that he had lost to the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Even if Air Commander were to spread the news, no one would believe him if the racetrack's Grim Reaper didn't say anything. People would only say that his entire team had lost to a racing enthusiast. However, things would be different if Air Commander admitted defeat. First of all, no one would know that he had lost to the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Even if Air Commander were to spread the news, no one would believe him if the racetrack's Grim Reaper didn't say anything. People would only say that his entire team had lost to a racing enthusiast. Air Commander, are you joking with me? Song Zi's eyes gleamed coldly. Song Zi, I don't have time to joke with you. You want me to personally bully a female racing enthusiast? Absolutely not. Go find someone else. That's it, I admit defeat. Air Commander stared at Song Zi and snorted coldly. Before Song Zi and the others could retort, Air Commander glanced at the speed members and bellowed, "Follow me." With that, Air Commander swiftly led the rest of the speed members away. Air Commander heaved a sigh of relief after they left. That had been a close call. Captain, what's going on? Why did you admit defeat? One of the speed members couldn't understand Air Commander's actions. They were clearly going to win this overtime. There wasn't even the slightest bit of suspense. But why did their captain admit defeat? Captain had said that he didn't want to bully a racing enthusiast, but to the speed members, it was ridiculous. How could they not know what kind of person their captain was? Air Commander looked coldly at his team members and said, "How did you guys lose before? Didn't you watch the recording?" "I see. That woman is a lunatic. Her luck is too good. She must have relied on luck to pass the 3 consecutive bends and overtake at the end. If her luck was slightly worse, she would probably be dead." One of the speed members said. Bullsh *T. Air Commander pointed at the team member and cursed. Ah. The member who was scolded had a strange look on his face. Wasn't that the case? You idiots, do you know who the woman who just raced with you is? Air Commander snorted coldly. Chapter 186. I know. She is a friend of Pei Yutong's. She is a racing enthusiast. Another speed member said. A racing enthusiast? Air Commander sneered coldly as he scanned his teammates. All of you are adults. How could the four of you be defeated by a racing enthusiast on the same track? Captain, I admit that we underestimated our opponent. If we were given another chance. Before the speed member could finish his sentence, Air Commander waved his hand and interrupted him. Forget about giving you another chance. Even if I gave you 10, 1,000, or even 10,000 chances, you still wouldn't be able to win this race. Air Commander said angrily. The four speed members exchanged glances. They wouldn't have been able to win even if they were given 10,000 chances? What did their captain mean? Did he have no confidence in them? All of you have participated in the second level of the international competition. No matter how careless you were, you wouldn't have been defeated by a racing enthusiast. Even the best racers in the country wouldn't have been able to do that. Let me tell you something. Even I wouldn't dare to race against that woman. Air Commander sighed heavily. Captain, who is that woman? Who? Air Commander scanned his surroundings to make sure that no one was around before he turned around with a look of awe. The racetrack's Grim Reaper. What? As soon as Air Commander finished speaking, the four members' pupils shrank and they gasped. Lang Mang's master, the defending champion of the first level of the international competition, the racetrack's Grim Reaper, who had participated in the pinnacle of the international competition. At that moment, the speed members stood rooted to the ground in disbelief. They had raced against the racetrack's Grim Reaper. At the same time, in the preparation area, Speed's captain, Air Commander, and a few other members had already left. Only Song Zi, Song Yaonan, and a dozen other young men were left. Although the ZH-1 members didn't know what had happened, they were certain that Speed's captain, Air Commander, had admitted defeat. The competition had ended with ZH-1's victory. I didn't expect Speed's captain to be so daring. He's so lucky. Mumu chuckled softly. In the ZH-1 member's opinion, Air Commander had admitted defeat because he didn't want to bully a female racing enthusiast. As for Air Commander, Deity, and the other members of the team admired him a lot. At the very least, if it had been them, they would not have done this. They would not have taken the initiative to admit defeat and give up a sure-win exhibition race just because you were a female racing enthusiast. Pei Yutong didn't care why Air Commander had admitted defeat. He was all smiles as he looked at Song Yaonan provocatively. Song Yaonan, do you want me to give you some time to prepare, or do you want to be direct? Since he had won the competition, he naturally wanted Song Yaonan to fulfill his promise. This time, he would make Song Yaonan pay him back with interest. F***CKU. Song Yaonan glared at Pei Yutong as he gritted his teeth. You must have bribed Air Commander. Otherwise, Air Commander wouldn't have admitted defeat. You despicable bastard. Chapter 187. Pei Yutong pursed his lips. Stop spouting nonsense. I don't even know Air Commander. I don't even have his contact details. How can you talk about bribing him? Do you have any evidence? If you do, show it to everyone. Song Yaonan didn't have any evidence, so he naturally couldn't produce any. Song Yaonan, don't tell me you can't afford to gamble. Are you afraid of losing? Pei Yutong sneered when Song Yaonan remained silent. Pei Yutong, how dare you play dirty with me? Song Zi's expression darkened as the corners of his lips curled up slightly. He stared at Pei Yutong with a cold smile. Oh, I can't help it if you insist on thinking that way. If you have evidence, show it to me. If not, you can crawl under my crotch. Oh yes, don't forget to disband your lousy team. Pei Yutong was nonchalant. Pei Yutong, you've never suffered a loss before. Song Zi grinned maliciously as he took a few steps back. Then, he turned to the group of youths and said, "This place is too small. Bring them out." "Oh yes, bring that B*TCH out too." With that, Song Zi led Song Yaonan out of the preparation room. A second later, the ZH1 team members and Pei Yutong were brought out. Pei Yutong and the others were led to an open-air preparation area outside the preparation room. "What are you guys up to?" Pei Yutong glared at Song Zi and Song Yaonan. "I don't know. It has nothing to do with me. You have to ask my big brother," Song Yaonan replied. "Ha ha. Song Zi, what are you up to? Are you angry because you've lost? Are you a sore loser?" Pei Yutong glared at Song Zi. Song Zi sauntered to Pei Yutong's side. Before Pei Yutong could say anything, he raised his hand and slapped Pei Yutong hard across the face. "F***ck your mom." Pei Yutong, who had been slapped out of nowhere, was furious. He raised his fist and prepared to retaliate. However, the image of his big brother surfaced in Pei Yutong's mind. He raised his fist, but it didn't come down. He had promised Big Brother that he wouldn't fight. However, Pei Yutong took advantage of this gap and was pinned down by a few young men. "Pei Yutong, you little B*****. Why don't you go out and find out what kind of person I am? Why are you playing dirty with me?" Song Zi patted Pei Yutong's cheek and grabbed him by the hair. "Little B*****, I'm telling you right now. I don't care if you bribed Speed's Air Force. Whether you win or lose today, the outcome will be the same. Song Zi, you mother****. Just you wait." Pei Yutong glared at Song Zi as he cursed. "Pa." A second later, Song Zi slapped Pei Yutong's face harshly. He sneered coldly. "Look at how despicable you are. Do you want to try scolding me again?" Song Zi, F***ck your mother. Pei Yutong spat in Song Zi's face. "Little bastard, you're courting death." Song Zi flew into a rage as he slapped Pei Yutong a few more times. Then, he kicked Pei Yutong's abdomen. "That's enough. Don't go overboard. If you continue like this, we'll call the police." Mumu couldn't help but berate them. Chapter 188. Song Zi glanced at Mumu and the others and sneered coldly. "This has nothing to do with you. Mind your own business, or I will beat all of you up." A few young men stood in front of the ZH1 team members. Song Zi's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as he grinned. "Look at how useless this man is. Lass, why don't you be with me? As long as you serve me well, I'm sure it will be better than being with a piece of trash like him." Lin Yan's eyes glinted coldly. However, she inhaled deeply. She had to calm down. She had promised herself that she wouldn't fight in the future. She had to distance herself from those dark memories. "Why? You don't want to?" Song Zi sneered coldly when Lin Yan remained silent. "Then I will beat him until he kneels down and begs me." After Song Zi finished speaking, he immediately signaled the young men beside him with his eyes. Upon receiving Song Zi's signal, a dozen youths surrounded Pei Yutong and started beating him up. "Song Zi, just you wait. I will kill you." Pei Yutong didn't stop as he cursed Song Zi's family. "Get up." Song Zi's expression darkened as he dashed forward. He grabbed Pei Yutong's hair with his left hand and slapped him repeatedly with his right hand. The corner of Pei Yutong's mouth was bleeding. Slap. Suddenly, Lin Yan appeared beside Pei Yutong and grabbed Song Zi's right hand that was about to slap him. "What's wrong, slut? Have you changed your mind?" Song Zi stared at Lin Yan with a smile. However, Lin Yan ignored Song Zi. She merely raised her right arm in front of everyone, and her eyes were icy cold. "What are you trying to do?" Song Zi narrowed his eyes. Song Zi had just finished speaking when Lin Yan's arm moved. No one knew what had happened, but they saw Lin Yan slap Song Zi's fat face. At the same time, the inertia of Lin Yan's slap lifted Song Zi's body off the ground. He flipped 2 or 3 times in the air before landing heavily on the ground. Big brother. Song Yaonan was flabbergasted. That woman had slapped his brother so hard. Soon, Song Yaonan helped Song Zi up. Blood trickled from the corners of Song Zi's mouth and nose. Lin Yan had slapped him. Big brother, wake up. Song Yaonan said hurriedly. Song Zi fainted from Lin Yan's slap. Song Zi woke up after Song Yaonan shook him a few times. His entire body was in excruciating pain, especially his face. Damn! Pei Yutong, who had been cursing madly, was stunned. He had been slapped more than 10 times, but he wasn't as miserable as Song Zi. Lin Yan's slap had left Song Zi unconscious for a few seconds. Is that woman a monster? You filthy B***tch. How dare you hit me? Song Zi pointed at Lin Yan. Beat her up. At Song Zi's words, a young man who was closest to Lin Yan swung his fist at Lin Yan. He didn't see what Lin Yan had done, but in a few seconds, the young men were sent flying like kites whose strings had been cut. Chapter 189. The rest of the men whipped out their baseball bats and other weapons. Go. Beat her up. Song Yaonan held on to Song Zi as he bellowed. A second later, dozens of men charged at Lin Yan with all sorts of weapons in their hands. Lin Yan's eyes flashed with a terrifying glint. Boom! There was a deafening sound. At the same time, the dozens of men who had charged at Lin Yan were dumbfounded. They stared at Lin Yan as though she was a monster. What had they just seen? Were their eyes playing tricks on them? Lin Yan swung her fist and punched the wall behind her. The wall collapsed with a loud thud. The part of the wall that Lin Yan had punched had been reduced to smithereens. Scram! Lin Yan's eyes darted to the men around her as she spoke coldly. The dozen young men looked at each other as if they'd seen a ghost, and they instinctively retreated. What? What kind of monster is this woman? One of the men exclaimed in a trembling voice. She had smashed the wall with one punch. If she had punched him, would he have died? His internal organs and bones would have been smashed by her. The rest of the team members stared at Lin Yan in astonishment. They were as shocked as Song Zi and Song Yaonan. What kind of monster was that? Lin Yan strode toward Song Zi and Song Yaonan with a cold expression on her face. You. What do you want? I'm warning you. Don't come any closer. Song Yaonan and Song Zi turned pale as they watched Lin Yan approach them. Would this woman kill them with a single punch? Hurry. 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 Beat her to death. Song Zi yelled at the men. However, this time, no one listened to Song Zi. They even wanted to beat her to death. They would be grateful if this woman didn't kill them. Seeing that the dozens of young men were indifferent, Song Zi hurriedly said, "Call the police, yes, call the police." Song Zi had just finished speaking when Lin Yan strode over to him. You. I'm warning you, Song Zi pointed at Lin Yan. Before he could finish his sentence, Lin Yan didn't even spare him a glance. Instead, she slapped him. Bang! Song Zi was slapped by Lin Yan again. His body spun 2 or 3 times in the air before he fell to the ground and fainted. Lin Yan stared intently at Song Yaonan, who was trembling uncontrollably. I'm telling you. It's not worth it. We see each other all the time. Song Yaonan's eyes were filled with fear as he stuttered incoherently. Lin Yan didn't waste any time. She reached out and grabbed Song Yaonan's collar. Everyone watched as Lin Yan lifted Song Yaonan's body in midair. Song Yaonan was so frightened that he shrieked. Song Yaonan. Lin Yen glared at him. Where is my engine? What engine? What engine? Song Yaonan's mind was in a whirl. He had no idea what Lin Yen was talking about. We made a bet. You lost to me because of the engine. Lin Yen bellowed. Oh, right. I remember now. 2 engines. I lost the bet. I'll give you 2 engines. Song Yaonan blurted out anxiously. 4 engines. Lin Yan's expression darkened. That's 1 for the psychological damage and 1 for hitting Pei Yutong. That's a total of 4 engines. All right. All right. 4 engines. I'll give you 4. Song Yaonan replied hastily. Chapter 190. At the police station, Pei Yutong, ZH1, and Song Yaonan stood in a row, looking extremely harmonious. The only thing that stood out was the young girl standing next to Pei Yutong, who was standing in the middle of a row of men. The girl was wearing a cap and a casual black outfit. She was carrying a canvas bag, and her body and fair face were clean and spotless. Her hair and clothes were neat and tidy. The only injury on her hand was a red bruise. A middle-aged policeman with a notebook in his hand walked up to the row of people and glanced at them one by one. On Pei Yutong's side, only Pei Yutong was injured. The rest of them looked fine, but Song Yaonan's side was different. Almost everyone was injured. Song Zi had even been dragged to the hospital. It was obvious that Song Yaonan's team had been at a disadvantage and had been beaten up by Pei Yutong's team. The policeman pondered silently. When his eyes landed on Lin Yen, he paused for a moment. It was obvious that this girl had to be the one to stop the fight. So, the policeman looked at the young lady in the crowd and said gently, "Young lady, come out." Lin Yen blinked and walked out obediently. Okay. The policeman looked at the well-behaved girl in front of him and glanced at the wound on the back of her hand. He then advised her earnestly, "Did you call the police? You're just a girl. In the future, if you see men fighting, remember to stay away. Don't get involved. What if you hurt yourself?" Song Yaonan and the others lifted their heads in unison to look at the police officer. Wait a minute. Something was wrong. Even Pei Yutong and ZH1 were dumbfounded when they heard the policeman. Lin Yen nodded eagerly and sincerely. Thank you, policeman. You're right. You're indeed the guardian of our people. I'm grateful to you on behalf of the people. After all, I'm a weak girl. If I encounter such a dangerous situation in the future, I will hide far away and call the police immediately. Song Yaonan and the others were speechless. Pei Yutong and the others were speechless. Song Yaonan and the others widened their eyes in shock. They were all stunned by Lin Yen's shameless attitude. Pei Yutong and the others glanced at Lin Yen cautiously and swallowed their saliva. Their expressions were indescribable. The policeman's expression softened when he saw the young lady's awareness. He pointed at his colleagues in the office behind him and said, It's good that you remember this. Girls must pay attention to protect themselves when they're outside. All right, little girl, follow this comrade to make a statement, and then go back early to rest." Holy shit. What the hell? He actually wanted to let her go back. In an instant, Song Yaonan's men couldn't take it anymore and started to protest. Song Yaonan struggled to lift his broken arm as he pointed a trembling finger at Lin Yen. "Officer, are you kidding me? Why did you let her go? She's the one who hit us." "You can let anyone go, but not her." "Exactly. It was this woman who hit us. My legs were broken. Police comrade, and my arm must have been crushed." Chapter 191. Sir. We were the ones who called the police. We were the ones. We called the police so that you could catch this thug. How could you let her go? Listening to the group of people complaining noisily, the policeman shouted angrily with a straight face, "All of you, be quiet. Stop arguing. What do you think this place is?" After that, the police uncle looked at the young men with broken arms and legs with disdain, and lectured them with an extremely displeased expression. "I say, you're a bunch of big men, each of you tall and strong, yet you have the cheek to say that a little girl beat you up like this. Aren't you embarrassed?" Song Yaonan and the others were scolded harshly. They felt so wrong that they wanted to cry. They felt even more humiliated. They had been beaten up by a young girl. They didn't want to admit it either. Did he think that they wanted to admit it? "Sir, we are telling the truth. If you don't believe us, go ahead and investigate. She was the one who beat us up." "Yeah. Why don't you believe us?" Pei Yutong and the others couldn't help but feel sorry for Song Yaonan and the others. "Officer, they're not wrong, are they?" The police uncle listened to the group of youths crying and snot, and squinted at them in disgust. "So, what you mean is, this girl also participated in the fight, and beat you together with these people?" The policeman pointed at Pei Yutong and the others. Song Yaonan and the others were quite honest. They immediately shook their heads like a rattledrum and said in unison, "No, this woman hit us alone." The policeman was speechless, not to mention this uncle. Even his colleagues behind him couldn't bear to listen to him anymore. One of the policewomen at the back said with a straight face, "What are you saying? She's just a girl. How could she beat you up like this? Tell me, what tool did she use?" Song Yaonan replied meekly, "No. I didn't use a tool." The policeman was so angry that he burst into laughter. He strode over and examined their injuries. "Now tell me. How could a girl beat you up with her bare hands? Even if you're lying, you should have some common sense." Lin Yen nodded eagerly. "That's right. Sir, you're right." Pei Yutong and the others exchanged glances as they stood there quietly. They stared at the big boss in front of them without saying a word. To be honest, if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have believed that Lin Yen couldn't have done it. Song Yaonan and the others felt so aggrieved that they almost curled up into balls. "How would we know how this violent girl did it?" "Sir, we're not lying." "Yeah. Believe us. This woman is like a monster." The policeman was displeased. "We have already checked. There are no surveillance cameras in that corner." "No surveillance cameras? How could there be no surveillance cameras?" As Song Yaonan spoke, he suddenly remembered that they had purposely found a blind spot where there were no surveillance cameras. In the end, they had shot themselves in the foot. The police officer glanced at Lin Yen and comforted her. "Young lady, don't worry. We won't let these people slander you for nothing. We will investigate and clear your name." Chapter 192. Song Yaonan and the others were speechless. F***ck. Shouldn't she be trying to prove their innocence? This was too much of an injustice. Song Yaonan and the others began to argue and plead for their innocence. The police station was in an uproar. In the end, Lin Yen coughed softly and said, "All right, stop arguing." Although she didn't want to expose her uniqueness, she knew that Pei Yutong and the others would be blamed if she didn't admit to it. If Pei Yuching found out, Pei Yutong would be in deep trouble again. After all, Pei Yutong hadn't done anything wrong this time. He had been suppressing himself the entire time, so he couldn't be blamed. Song Yaonan and the others didn't hear Lin Yen, as they continued to argue. Lin Yen narrowed her eyes and hissed coldly, "I said shut up. Don't you understand?" A gust of cold air swept over them, and Song Yaonan and the others fell silent in fear. They shuddered as they stared at Lin Yen. The police station fell into a dead silence. Lin Yen rolled her eyes at them and glanced at the police officer. "Officer, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you the truth. I did beat these people up. I did it alone. I had nothing to do with anyone else." Pei Yutong realized that Lin Yan had admitted to it because of him. He raised his head with a swollen face, his eyes filled with gratitude and admiration. Pei Yutong yelled, "Daddy!" Lin Yan snapped, "Shut up." Pei Yutong replied, "Oh." The policeman was taken aback when he heard Lin Yan. Then, he said solemnly, "Young lady, were you threatened by them? Don't be afraid. Tell me what happened." Song Yaonan and the others were speechless. Please. They were the ones who had been threatened. The look in his eyes had been terrifying. Lin Yan looked helpless. Ahem. No one threatened me. It was really me, Song Yaonan and the others wailed. Yes. Officer, it was really her. She said it herself. Why don't you believe us? This is so unfair. The policeman glanced at Lin Yan and said righteously, "Young lady, you don't have to say anything. I understand. You're in the police station now. We will help you find out the truth." Lin Yan scratched her head. The truth is clear. It was me. It's really me. Song Yaonan and the others agreed. Yes. It was her. It's really her. Pei Yutong and the others were speechless as they watched the assailant and the victim standing together to convince the police. Why was the scene in front of him so weird? As Song Yaonan and the others were bickering, a black car stopped at the entrance of the police station. A man who looked like an assistant got out of the driver's seat, then quickly walked to the back seat of the car and opened the door. Then, a man in a black suit stepped out of the car. Just as Pei Yutong was feeling emotional, he caught sight of a familiar figure at the door. The man was wearing a custom-made suit and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. He looked cold and aloof. Beside him were his senior assistant, Ching Mo, and his private lawyer. Pei Yutong's legs turned to jelly when he saw who it was. He almost fell to his knees. The person next to him had to help him up before he could barely stand. It's over. He's dead. Chapter 193. He had been taken to the police station with his sister-in-law. They would definitely be dead this time. There was no need to save them. He had clearly called second brother before, so why did big brother come in person? F***ck. Lin Yan was explaining to the police helplessly when Pei Yutong, whom she hadn't seen in a long time, appeared before her. She froze. Her first thought was the same as Pei Yutong's. She was doomed. She had been standing in a corner, so Pei Yutong hadn't seen her. He strode in Pei Yutong's direction. When Pei Yutong met his brother's terrifying gaze, he was frightened out of his wits. He stammered, "Big brother. Big brother. Let me explain, F***ck. Big brother had brought Ching Mo here. It was obvious that he was going to mess with him again. Pei Yutong's lawyer handed a name card to the police officer. "Hello, police officer. This is Pei Yutong's big brother. I'm his lawyer. You can talk to me directly if you need anything." The police officer was startled when he received the name card. It was Qin Jiming, the senior lawyer of the company. Group. Could it be the Pei family's company? The police officer snapped back to his senses and hurriedly replied, "Young people are hot-blooded and fight." The lawyer, Qin Jiming, glanced at Pei Yutong and asked, "Who did it?" The police officer glanced at them and replied, "They must have fought." Pei Yutong's expression was cold and emotionless as he glared at Pei Yutong. "Do you want to leave on your own or do you want me to tie you up?" Pei Yutong immediately explained, "Big brother. I'm innocent. They started it. We didn't retaliate at all. We were beaten up." "You didn't retaliate?" Pei Yutong glanced at Song Yaonan and the others and said nonchalantly, "Pei Yutong, you should know the consequences of lying to me." Pei Yutong panicked. "I didn't. I really didn't lie." The lawyer coughed softly. "Third young master, if you don't tell the truth, I won't be able to handle this matter." Pei Yutong yelled, F***ck. Why didn't I tell the truth? My head was swollen like a pig's head. I wasn't the only one. The others didn't fight either. The lawyer said helplessly, none of you did anything, so how did the other party get injured? Lin Yan, who had been ignored the entire time, raised her hand meekly. It has nothing to do with third young master. It was me. I hit him. Everyone's attention was on Lin Yan. Song Yaonan and the others chimed in at the same time. Yeah. It was her. She was the one who hit him. Lawyer. He was speechless. He finally spotted the girl who was curled up in the corner. Lin Yan stood there obediently like a student who had made a mistake. Mr. Pei. I went to watch third young master's competition today. Watch the competition? Pei Yuqing glanced at Pei Yutong. Lin Yan replied, yes. There was a dispute, so they fought. Before Lin Yan could finish, Song Yaonan blurted out, she did it. Look at how badly she beat us up. I'm telling you, you have to give me an explanation for this. Chapter 194. Song Yaonan glanced at Pei Yuqing from the corner of his eye and felt a little apprehensive. Was this man Pei Yutong's brother? He didn't look like an ordinary person. However, Song Yaonan dismissed this thought quickly. How could a coward like Pei Yutong have a powerful background? If he did, he would have shown it off a long time ago. At this thought, Song Yaonan's courage swelled once more as he instigated his companions to take responsibility for his injuries. Pei Yuqing's eyes darted to Song Yaonan and the others, who were clamoring. In an instant, everyone fell silent. F***ck. Why was this man's gaze even scarier than that violent woman's? The lawyer glanced at Lin Yan. Is this lady third young master's friend? Pei Yutong hastily replied, she is my sister-in-law, my brother's girlfriend. Lawyer Qin's eyes were filled with shock. When had he gotten a girlfriend? Why did this girl look so familiar? She looked like an actress. However, he didn't pay much attention to the entertainment industry, so he couldn't recall who she was. Lawyer Qin composed himself quickly and glanced at the police officer. Was she the one who attacked him? The police officer chuckled. That doesn't seem possible. I suspect that this young lady was threatened. That's why she said that. Lawyer Qin glanced at Lin Yan and replied politely, Miss Lin, if the other party threatened you, you don't have to. Lin Yan had explained herself countless times, but no one believed her. Finally, she lost her patience and interrupted Lawyer Qin. No one threatened me. Please. My boyfriend is here. Who can threaten me? I'm telling the truth. Can't you tell the truth? Lawyer Qin was speechless. That was right, with him around, who could threaten her? Pei Yutong was speechless. Daddy was amazing. He had learned how to suck up again. Pei Yuqing, who had been standing quietly, chuckled softly when he heard the girl. Every time she heard Pei Yuqing's chuckle, she couldn't take it anymore. His voice was like a feather that tickled her heart. Lin Yan suddenly realized what she had just said, and she blushed furiously. She hadn't thought much about what she had said. She had blurted it out from the bottom of her heart. Damn it, had she gotten used to it? Lin Yan replied cautiously, Mr. Pei, I was the one who did it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Then, she looked at the man anxiously. His girlfriend was a violent maniac, yet she had beaten him up. Pei Yuqing would definitely be furious. That's not right. Why was she nervous? This was a good time to break up. Lin Yan was overjoyed. Pei Yuqing's crisp voice rang out. Are you hurt? What? Shouldn't he be scolding her? Surprised, Lin Yan blurted out, no. I'm fine. Pei Yuqing didn't say anything as he scanned the girl's body. Then, he suddenly raised the girl's left hand and stared at the wound on the back of her hand. His eyes were as cold as ice. You call this not injured? Lin Yen glanced awkwardly at the bruise on the back of her hand. This really couldn't be called an injury, right? Chapter 195. Song Yaonan and the others were dumbfounded. Big brother, are you kidding me? It's just a scratch. How can that be considered an injury? Please look at us. Look at us. Can you please take a good look at our injuries before you speak? This time, even Pei Yutong and the others were on Song Yaonan's side. Pei Yutong curled up in a corner and bit his lip. How could Big Brother look at his brother, who had been beaten into a pulp? If he had fought, he would have thrown him away. If Big Sister-in-law had fought, he would have asked about her well-being and asked if she was injured. Big Brother's double standards were so severe that it made him cry. Pei Yuqing glanced at his assistant, Ching Imo, who nodded immediately. Yes, I'm going to buy some medicine. He walked out of the police station and headed to the pharmacy. Pei Yutong watched Ching Mo's back bitterly. Could he buy some medicine for him too? After Pei Yuqing's lawyer settled the dispute, Lin Yen, Pei Yutong, and the others were released. Pei Yutong slumped into the driver's seat. Ching Imo returned after buying the medicine and handed it to Pei Yuqing. Then, he opened the back seat door. Lin Yen had no choice but to follow Pei Yuqing into the back seat. The moment she got into the car, she realized that there was someone else in the back seat. Mr. Pei. Mr. Pei. Lin Yen was startled. Pei Nanshu was surprised to see Lin Yen. Miss Lin? Are you with Yutong? Asked Pei Nanshu. Lin Yen coughed softly. I went to watch Third Young Master's competition today, Pei Nanshu replied. Sorry, Third Young Master is a little impulsive. Did you get hurt? Pei Yutong howled. Second brother, you're mistaken. I wasn't the one who fought today. It wasn't me. Pei Nanshu studied the bruises on Pei Yutong's face. It wasn't you? Pei Yutong stroked his bruised eyes. I was beaten up. I didn't retaliate at all. Big Sister-in-law was the one who fought them. One person beat up a whole group of them. Just now in the police station, the police didn't believe it when they heard it. Pei Yutong spoke excitedly. Pei Nanshu was speechless. Pei Nanshu hadn't expected this answer. Lin Yen glared at him. F***ck. She dared to defame her in front of her idol. Unfortunately, Pei Yuqing was sitting next to her, so she didn't dare say anything. Pei Nanshu chuckled softly and said, I didn't expect Big Sister-in-law to be so skilled. Lin Yen was speechless. Her idol called her sister-in-law. When Pei Nanshu addressed her as Big Sister-in-law, she was overwhelmed with emotions. She had never imagined that one day, she would have such an intimate relationship with her idol. The other female fans were all clamoring for their idol to become their husband. But she is different, her idol has become her brother-in-law. Lin Yen waved her hands humbly. No. I was just stronger than others when I was young. Then, the car drove steadily. For a while, no one spoke. The silence in the car made people feel like they were sitting on pins and needles. Just like before, Lin Yen sat with her knees pressed against the window. Then her ears twitched, and she heard a rustling sound coming from the side. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Pei Yuqing using his long, slender fingers to unpack the alcohol cotton. Then, the man lifted his eyes to look at her. Give me your hand. Chapter 196. Oh. Oh. Lin Yen hurriedly extended her hand. Pei Yuqing picked up an alcohol cotton pad and gently wiped the girl's wound. He then applied a layer of medicine and stuck a band-aid on her wound. Pei Yutong, whose face was swollen and bruised, turned his head to glare at his big brother bitterly. Jealousy has made me unrecognizable. Dog food has made me fall apart. Sister Yan's wound hadn't been serious, but she had bled a lot. It shouldn't have been so light. Why did it seem as though it had almost healed? Had he seen wrongly? Pei Yuqing's actions were gentle and gentlemanly. He hadn't made any physical contact with her. Only the alcohol, cotton and medicine had touched her body. Even so, Lin Yan's heart began to race. After applying the medicine, Lin Yan retracted her hand and coughed softly. Ahem. Mr. Pei, I have to explain this to you. I was the one who did it. Third young master had nothing to do with it. Please don't punish him. Third young master is a good boy. The other party provoked him, but he didn't retaliate. Pei Yutang, who was sitting in front, burst into tears. He was indeed her biological father. He had made the right choice to be her father. He had been right to cling to this powerful man. Although Lin Yan had absolved Pei Yutang of the blame, she had to take the blame. She racked her brains and said, "As for me, I couldn't stand watching them bully third young master. That's why I attacked. After all, he's my brother-in-law. Even if it's for my boyfriend's sake, how could I let anyone bully him?" Pei Yutang was speechless. Big Boss was starting to work again. Pei Yutang quickly took out a small notebook from somewhere in the car and started to jot it down. Pei Yuqing rested his hand on his forehead as the corners of his mouth curled up. "Okay, continue." Lin Yan swallowed her saliva and continued. "Besides, although it was a fight, third young master and I are completely different." "We are different." Pei Yutang glanced at her, looking aggrieved. "Big sister-in-law, how are you different?" "I think my big brother is clearly treating me differently. Why does he punish me whenever I fight? Even if it's not my fault, he still punishes me?" It was impossible for Pei Yutang not to have any complaints. He had always felt that his big brother was too unfair. He didn't even care about his feelings. Pei Yuqing remained expressionless when he heard his brother, as though he had no intention of explaining. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yutang and said solemnly, "Third young master, you have to remember that you've run away from home. The racing industry is full of hidden talents and rich second-generation heirs. You're just an ordinary racer with a lousy team with no background." Pei Yutang, the driver of the lousy team, clutched his chest, indicating that he had suffered 10,000 damage. Lin Yan added, "Think about it. If you had retaliated, the other party wouldn't have let you off. Given their background, you wouldn't have been able to handle everything on your own. On the contrary, if you had tolerated it, you would have suffered a beating at most. Third young master, haven't you realized? You keep saying that you've run away from home and that you want to rely on yourself to pursue your dreams. However, in your subconscious, you still view yourself as the third young master of the Pei family, who will rely on Big Brother to solve any problems." Chapter 197. I didn't. Pei Yutang retorted immediately, sounding guilty. He pondered over Lin Yan's words and realized that she was right. Your big brother is so strict with you because he wants to break your inertia and make you independent. He wants you to learn how to rely on your own abilities to solve problems in the future. He wants you to think of a way to stop danger and conflict before it happens. He doesn't want things to get out of hand, Lin Yan said patiently. Pei Yutang was about the same age as her brother, so she couldn't help but say so much. Pei Yutang fell into deep thought after he listened to Lin Yan. Indeed, he had been too arrogant and had relied on his status to not think too much. That was why he had been at a disadvantage all the time. Pei Nanxiu raised his head and looked at the girl in surprise. He hadn't expected her to say that. Lin Yan patted Pei Yutang's shoulder. "Third young master, look. I'm indeed different from you. You're a third-rate racer with no power, or money. My boyfriend is the head of the Pei family and the president of the company. Of course I can beat up anyone I want." Pei Yutang, who had been touched a moment ago, was speechless. Lin Yan gazed at the man beside her with a fawning expression. She said, "You can't scold me. I only dared to fight because of you. Mr. Pei, although it's wrong of me to fight, I thought about it carefully and thought that it was a good fight. That's why I did it." Pei Yuqing studied the girl's serious expression and chuckled softly. Miss Lin, what you said makes sense. Pei Yucheng was speechless. Made sense? Pei Yutong was stunned. She was spouting nonsense. Given his brother's intelligence, how could he think that such nonsense made sense? Pei Yutong couldn't help but whisper into his brother's ear. TSK TSK. Indeed, people who are in love have no intelligence at all. Even Big Brother is no exception. Pei Nanshu chuckled and shook his head. As they spoke, the car arrived at Cloud Manor. Lin Yan realized that they had arrived at Pei Yucheng's villa. Pei Yutong eagerly opened the car door for her. Big sister-in-law, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and get out. Lin Yan was speechless. Could she just go home? Lin Yan stood at the door, deliberating over how to bid farewell. Pei Yucheng, who had just gotten out of the car, suddenly strode over to her. He grabbed her uninjured hand and said, "Let's have dinner together. I'll officially introduce you to Yutong and Nanshu." The warmth from her palm transformed into a flame that engulfed her body. Lin Yan couldn't even hear what the man was saying. She stared blankly at the man's mesmerizing face and instinctively said, "Oh. Okay." Lin Yan wished that she could slap herself to wake up from her stupor. What happened to the saying that beauty was just fleeting clouds? What happened to finding a way to break up? In the end, Lin Yan allowed herself to be led into the house. Pei Yutong took out his first aid kit and applied medicine on himself as he drooled. "I want to eat Uncle Zhong's red braised pork, squirrel mandarin fish, sweet and sour pork ribs, boiled beef, and spicy chicken." Chapter 198. Pei Yucheng held the girl's hand gently and glanced sideways at Pei Yutong. "Uncle Zhong isn't around." Pei Yutong was startled. "Huh? Did Uncle Zhong apply for leave? Who's going to cook?" Pei Yucheng replied, "I'll do it." Pei Yutong, who was still reveling in the joy of surviving a calamity, turned pale when he heard this. He glanced at Pei Yucheng and stammered, "What? Big brother? Are you going to cook?" Pei Yucheng asked, "Why?" Pei Yutong's face was pale as he suggested earnestly, "Brother, I know a new barbecue restaurant. Why don't we eat outside?" Pei Nanshu coughed softly and said, "The new hot pot restaurant in the north of the city is not bad either." Pei Yutong quipped, "The 3-star Michelin restaurant in the city center is good too." Pei Nanshu quipped, "Should we call the French chef over?" Lin Yan's head was spinning as Pei Yucheng held her hand. She couldn't think straight. She didn't know if she was hallucinating, but why were Pei Yutong and Pei Nanshu behaving so strangely? Lin Yan, who had no idea what was going on, instinctively blurted out, "It's good to cook at home. It would save money." Pei Yutong felt hopeless when he heard Lin Yan. He secretly waved his hands at her. Pei Yucheng asked, "What do you want to eat?" Pei Yucheng wanted to cook personally. Even if it wasn't because of her persona, Lin Yan would still feel flattered. She replied hastily, "I'm fine with anything. As long as you cook, I like it." Pei Yutong was speechless. Pei Nanshu was speechless. There was dead silence in the living room. "Okay." Pei Yucheng released the girl and walked to the kitchen. After Pei Yucheng left, Pei Yutong scurried over to Lin Yan. "Big sister-in-law, have you never tried my brother's cooking before?" Lin Yan replied, "Yeah, why?" Pei Yutong replied, "No. Nothing." Pei Nanshu looked helpless as well. Lin Yan blinked her eyes in confusion. After Pei Yucheng left, Lin Yan's heartbeat gradually returned to normal. She sat down on the couch in the living room. Lin Yan had just sat down when she caught a glimpse of the limited edition poster in her bag. She hurriedly grabbed a pillow to cover the bag and the poster. This thing was too dangerous. Lin Yan peeked in the direction of the kitchen and felt that it wasn't appropriate to sit around and wait for food. So, after hiding the bag, she ran to the kitchen. Pei Yucheng was preparing the ingredients in the kitchen. His movements were smooth and skillful. Ahem. Mr. Pei, how can I help you? Asked Lin Yen. Pei Yucheng replied, there's no need. Ah, but it's embarrassing to just wait to eat. Let me do something for you. That will make things easier for you. Replied Lin Yen. Pei Yucheng turned around and called out in the direction of the living room. Yu Academy. Coming. Pei Yutong hurried over when he heard Big Brother's message. Big Brother, why did you call me? Pei Yutong asked eagerly. Pei Yucheng instructed, wash and cut the vegetables. Pei Yutong didn't dare disobey him. He nodded eagerly. Okay. No problem. Lin Yen scratched her head awkwardly. If you leave everything to third young master, what should I do? Pei Yucheng took an apron from the hook and handed it to the girl. Help me put it on. Chapter 199. Lin Yen was speechless. Pei Yutong, who was busy cutting the onions, was crying inwardly, Big Brother, can you be any more obvious in your favoritism? Lin Yan's heart, which had just calmed down, began to race again. She coughed softly and hurriedly took the apron from Pei Yucheng. She helped him put it on and went to the back to tie it. Pei Yucheng replied, thank you. Lin Yen coughed. You're welcome. You're welcome. Pei Yucheng had always looked aloof and distant, but he didn't hold back when it came to flirting with someone. Pei Yutong busied himself in the kitchen. As for Lin Yen, she had been helping Pei Yucheng put on the apron. Dinner was ready in no time. Pei Yutong and Pei Nanshu served it to the table. The four of them sat facing each other. Lin Yen stared at the delicious dishes on the table and her appetite was piqued. Wow! I didn't expect you to be so good at cooking, Mr. Pei. Pei Yutong was speechless. Pei Nanshu was speechless. Pei Yucheng picked up a piece of sweet and sour pork for Lin Yen. Try it. The pork ribs were exquisite, and the gravy was rich and tempting. Okay. Thank you. Lin Yen picked it up and stuffed it into her mouth. Pei Yutong and Pei Nanshu held their breaths as they stared at Lin Yen. Lin Yen took a bite of it. It must be delicious. In the next second, when the taste buds on the tip of his tongue tasted the ribs, his entire body froze. This feeling, if one had to describe it, was as if someone had hammered the top of his head with a big stick from behind. *T. What kind of weird smell is this? Lin Yen couldn't describe it. It looked delicious, so why was the taste so indescribable? Lin Yen didn't dare move her mouth. The taste was too lethal, and she felt as though she would die if she took another bite. Initially, she had wanted to save money, so she had thought that it would be better to eat at home. In the end, it was indeed free, but it would cost her her life. In a few seconds, Lin Yen felt as though she had experienced an earthquake and a tsunami. She had managed to hang on because she had a strong will to maintain her persona. Lin Yen looked calm and composed. Pei Yutong stared at her and asked, Big sister-in-law, is it delicious? Lin Yen swallowed the horrible taste as she glowered at him. All right. Eat. Too. Good. Eat. Yes. No wonder Pei Yutong and Pei Nanshu reacted so strangely when they heard that Pei Yucheng was going to cook. Why didn't he just tell her directly? Pei Yucheng picked up another piece of braised fish for her. Thank you. I'll do it myself. Lin Yen had no choice but to bite the bullet. There shouldn't be anything worse than that sweet and sour pork ribs in this world, right? Lin Yen swallowed the braised fish with her chopsticks and chuckled to herself. As expected, no one is perfect in this world. Who would have thought that the seemingly perfect Pei Yucheng would be so lousy at cooking? She was curious as to how he was able to make the food taste like this. During the competition, he had flown to many countries and tried many different cuisines. Even the English cuisine, which was known as dark cuisine, couldn't compare to his. Chapter 200. When she finally swallowed it, Lin Yan grinned and said, "Yum, it's delicious." Delicious? Pei Yutong studied Lin Yan's smile and felt incredulous. He hurriedly picked up a piece of braised fish. After that, he now deeply believed in one thing: sister-in-law's love for eldest brother was absolute. Then, everyone started to eat. Lin Yan tasted every dish, hoping that there would be one that she could eat. In the end, there wasn't a single one. Lin Yan studied Pei Yucheng curiously as she ate the rice. In the end, she watched as Pei Yucheng ate the dishes without batting an eyelid. It was as though he didn't find them disgusting at all. Pei Yutong and Pei Nanxiu, who were sitting opposite them, looked rather calm as they ate. Lin Yan began to doubt herself. What was going on? Why didn't the three of them react at all when they were eating such disgusting food? Did the Pei family have such weird tastes? Lin Yan felt as though her taste buds were going numb after this meal. Pei Yucheng sensed that something was wrong with Lin Yan's expression. Is it salty? No, no, no. It's just right. I'm just a little thirsty. Do you have water? Asked Lin Yan. Pei Yucheng stood up to get some water. Pei Yutong's face contorted in anger. Big sister-in-law. I told you that we went out to eat. Why did you have to eat at home? Why did you have to do this? I was already injured today, yet I have to suffer like this. Why is my life so bitter? Even if I get beaten up by Song Yaonan again, it's better than eating Big Brother's food. Lin Yan's face darkened. So you think that it's disgusting too? I thought that the Pei family had such weird tastes. Pei Yutong quipped, Big sister-in-law, I believe one thing now. Lin Yan asked, what? Pei Yutong quipped, you definitely love Big Brother. You ate such disgusting food with a smile on your face. How much love do you have to have? Other than us, you're the only one who dares to eat Big Brother's food. Big sister-in-law, you're indeed my Big Brother's destined woman. Lin Yan was speechless. Destined, my foot. When Pei Yucheng returned with a glass of water, Pei Yutong swiftly finished his bowl of rice and sprang to his feet. I'm done. Well, I'm just a small team racer with no power, no background. I won't stay the night, I'm going back to my place. Big brother, big sister-in-law, bye-bye. Pei Nanxiu wiped his mouth and stood up. Big brother, big sister-in-law, enjoy your meal. I have a schedule tomorrow, so I'm leaving now. Lin Yan was left alone as she stared at the dishes on the table in front of her. You guys ran away just like that? They were the only ones left in the living room. Lin Yan gritted her teeth and quietly ate 2 bowls of rice and 3 glasses of water. Then, she quietly helped him clear the table. After clearing the table, Lin Yan and Pei Yucheng washed the dishes together. As she washed the dishes, she thought that she should be able to leave after washing the dishes, right? However, how could he take the initiative to bring it up? She should be the one who wanted to spend every second with him. She couldn't possibly take the initiative to say that she wanted to leave. Lin Yan was lost in her thoughts as she washed the dishes. Suddenly, a cold hand grabbed her wrist. Lin Yan, who was startled, turned to Pei Yucheng. Mr. Pei, what's wrong? Leave it. I'll wash it. Pei Yucheng stared at the bowls that Lin Yan was washing and sounded helpless. Lin Yan's eyes darted to the bowls that she was washing. *T. She hadn't controlled her strength properly, and she had broken a few bowls. Lin Yan was exasperated. Sorry. I've been strong since I was young, Pei Yucheng replied. Wait for me outside. Lin Yan replied, oh, okay, P.S. The 30,000 words are over. I'm begging for a monthly ticket. The 3 activities of QQ Reading Book Friends Circle have started. Everyone can participate at the end of this chapter. 8 babies will be given a keychain each. You can choose the style of the keychain. You can request for a monthly ticket or a full subscription. In addition, I recommend Yi Bei's new book, The Phoenix of the Nine Heavens. It's written by a strong female character. Chapter 201. Lin Yan had no choice but to sit down on the couch in the living room. She then grabbed a pillow to cover her bag. This meal made her want to break up with him. When could she leave? Lin Yan sat in the living room, feeling as though time had passed. Finally, she heard familiar footsteps behind her. Then, a shadow shrouded her, accompanied by the faint smell of tobacco. Pei Yuqing stood in front of her and slowly got down on one knee. Lin Yan was speechless. This posture, as a straight woman, she didn't feel anything when she saw those sensational and romantic men kneeling on one knee in front of their girlfriends on TV. However, when Pei Yuqing suddenly knelt on one knee in front of her, she felt as though she had a concussion. What was going on? Pei Yuqing didn't look at her. Instead, he was looking at the girl's left leg. He extended his hand and placed it on the girl's calf. Instinctively, Lin Yan retracted her leg. Pei Yuqing said, "Don't move." Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan didn't dare move. Then, she watched as Pei Yuqing rolled her pants up to her knees. Probably because of the large amount of exercise today, her calves and knees were already a little red and swollen. Lin Yan's expression froze when she saw her injured left leg. If anyone else had been in that tragic car accident, they would have died. However, she was lucky to be alive. Given her recovery ability, she would be able to recover slowly as long as she didn't court death. Pei Yuqing rolled up her pants and took out a small white porcelain bottle. He poured some light green liquid on his palm and placed his palm on her calf. Then, he began to massage it slowly. Lin Yan was startled by his words. She had a match and a fight today. In fact, after the match, her leg was already aching. However, she didn't show it at all, nor did she mention it. Even Pei Yutong hadn't known. How had Pei Yuqing known that her leg was hurting and pinpointed the exact spot? The cool feeling quickly became warm due to the temperature of his palm. It soothed the pain bit by bit, and the numbness and pain also lessened bit by bit. She was used to enduring this pain and would never tell anyone about it. Lin Yan watched as the man massaged her leg without saying a word. An indescribable feeling welled up in her heart. The living room was quiet. It was dark outside the window. Pei Yuqing massaged her for about 10 minutes before he stopped. Then, he continued to kneel on one knee. He reached out and slowly rolled up the right side of the girl's clothes. Repeating the action of massaging her calf, he applied the ointment on his palm and placed it on her waist. Lin Yan was shocked once again. This was also one of the parts of her body that had been affected by the car accident. Back then, she was injured so badly that she almost became paralyzed. Because her body recovered very quickly, it was not serious now. However, she would still feel a little sore from excessive exercise. How did this man know everything? Was he a roundworm in her stomach? Lin Yan sat there quietly, not daring to move a muscle. As Lin Yan's imagination ran wild, Pei Yuqing said, "Take off your jacket." Instinctively, Lin Yan obeyed. "Oh. Okay." Pei Yuqing studied the girl's obedient behavior and couldn't help chuckling softly. Then, he lifted his head and gazed at the girl with an indescribable emotion. "You're so obedient. You trust me so much?" Lin Yan coughed softly and replied, "Of course I trust you. Mr. Pei, you're a gentleman. How could I not trust you?" "Miss Lin." Pei Yuqing's long fingers caressed the girl's waist gently. He paused for a moment, and his eyes darkened. "Who told you that I'm a gentleman?" Chapter 202. Who told you that I'm a gentleman? The moment Pei Yuqing said that, Lin Yan's brain froze. The spot on her waist that had been touched started to burn hotter and hotter. The heat spread throughout her body. The oppressive and dangerous aura that Pei Yuqing had exuded made Lin Yan instinctively feel uneasy and fearful. Even though she tried her best to maintain her composure, she instinctively shrank her neck. The man, who seemed to sense the uneasiness in the girl's eyes, retracted his gaze and chuckled softly. Don't worry. I won't do anything to you. Lin Yen heaved a sigh of relief when she heard him. Her heart, which had been in her throat, finally calmed down. As soon as her heart settled, Pei Yuqing added, "At least not now." Lin Yen was speechless. Did he mean that he would in the future? After Pei Yuqing applied the ointment on the girl, he tidied up her clothes carefully and said, "Unless you ask me to." Lin Yen was speechless. Pei Yuqing's words were full of twists and turns, and Lin Yan's cheeks began to burn again. Instinctively, Lin Yen mumbled to herself to console herself, "I'm joking. I'm definitely joking." Pei Yuqing wouldn't be so desperate. Lin Yen hurriedly changed the topic. "Thank you, Mr. Pei, but how did you know that I was injured?" Pei Yuqing's eyes flickered as he replied casually, "I guessed it because you couldn't move around." Lin Yen asked, "That's impressive, he could guess it? And he was so accurate?" There was no mistake at all. Although Lin Yen was puzzled, she didn't probe further. Indeed, he was a big shot. His observation skills were better than most people's. When he finally finished applying the medicine, Lin Yen hurriedly said, "Mr. Pei, it's getting late. I'll head back now. I won't disturb your rest." Pei Yuqing replied, "I'll send you back." Lin Yen had been worried that Pei Yuqing would ask her to stay the night. She hadn't expected him to agree so readily. He hadn't made any requests. That was true. How could a man like Pei Yuqing do anything to her? She must be dreaming. At this thought, Lin Yen felt more at ease. She rose to her feet and walked out happily. Pei Yuqing interrupted her as she reached the door. "Miss Lin, you left your bag behind." "Bag? What bag?" "Ah, right. Her canvas bag." "Ah." Lin Yen was scared out of her wits. She turned around and dashed in his direction at the speed of lightning. The more she panicked, the messier it became. She was originally going to grab her bag, but because she was in too much of a hurry, she lost her grip and the canvas bag fell to the ground. The poster rolled out of the canvas bag and spread out on the ground. A limited edition autographed poster of Pei Nanxiu was laid open in front of them. Lin Yen was speechless. He was speechless. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds passed. The living room was dead silent, and only the sound of heartbeats could be heard. Lin Yen wished that she could bang her head against the wall and kill herself. Why? Why did she always panic in front of Pei Yuqing? Why did she make such stupid mistakes? Could she at least have a chance to not crash? Chapter 203. This was simply a huge case of being cheated on. Ever since a second consciousness had appeared in her body, her life seemed to have entered a difficult phase. Lin Yen didn't dare look into Pei Yuqing's eyes. Given Pei Yuqing's way of thinking, he wouldn't be able to understand the existence of an idol. Besides, she had repeatedly said that she loved him dearly and couldn't tolerate anyone else. Yet, she had hidden another man's photo. This man was his brother. Lin Yen felt that she was a scumbag. She felt so wronged. However, there was nothing she could do. That idiot had gotten into trouble, so she had to bear the consequences. Lin Yen bent down swiftly and rolled up Pei Nanxiu's poster. Then, she said calmly, "It's all third young master's fault. When I went to watch his competition today, he insisted that I give it to me. I had no choice but to accept it. After all, as his sister-in-law, it's my duty to support second young master's career." Before Lin Yen could finish her sentence, she felt a tight grip around her waist. She was pulled into a warm embrace, and she dropped the poster in her hands. Then, a gentle kiss landed on her lips. It was different from the first time he had accidentally touched her forehead. It was as gentle as a feather, and it was different from the playful kiss he had given her after she had complained about her low blood sugar level. It was also different from the farewell kiss he had given her that night. This time, his movements were as gentle and careful as ever. However, for some reason, Lin Yen sensed a sense of violence and fear from his kiss that penetrated deep into her soul. It was as if a gentle net had enveloped them. At first, there was no threat. In fact, it could even cause one to sink deep into it. However, gradually, the net tightened. How could this be? He was such a gentle and gentlemanly man. Why did she feel so afraid all of a sudden? Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through Lin Yan's head. Pei Yuqing didn't linger for long. He left immediately. At the same time, the fear and the sudden pain in her head disappeared, as if everything that had just happened was just an illusion. Lin Yan snapped back to her senses and instinctively touched her mouth. Why again? Pei Yuqing bent down and helped her roll up the poster. He placed it in the canvas bag and handed it to the girl. As the girl stared at him in bewilderment, he stretched out his slender fingers and placed them on her lips. In a low, hoarse voice, he said, "This is to thank you." Lin Yan's cheeks flushed. Thank her for supporting Pei Nanxiu? Why did this man never play by the rules? What else could she do? She could only smile and say, "You're welcome. It's my job." No matter what, this trial was finally over. Pei Yuqing walked her to the door. He seemed to sense that the girl would be nervous in his presence, so he didn't send her off personally. Instead, he arranged for a chauffeur to take her home. Lin Yan waved her hands. "I'll head back now." "Good night, Mr. Pei." Pei Yuqing replied, "Good night." Lin Yan's car sped away in the darkness of the night and disappeared into the darkness. When the car disappeared from his sight, he lit a cigarette and stood in the night breeze for a while. After he finished smoking, he turned around and returned to the villa. Chapter 205. Soon, the chauffeur dropped Lin Yan off. Lin Yan had finally made it home alive. Today was the day she had tried her best to survive. When she reached home, Lin Yan realized that there was a missed call on her phone. Lin Yan's expression changed drastically when she saw the missed call. She dialed the number hastily. "Hello. Is there any news?" A familiar voice came from the other end of the phone. "Yes, I just found some new clues." Lin Yan clutched her phone tightly. "What clues?" The person on the other end of the phone suddenly fell silent. He didn't speak immediately, as if he was considering his words. Lin Yan's heart sank to the bottom of the pit of her stomach. "Is it bad news?" The man sighed and said, "I've locked onto one of the organizations, and I'm pretty sure that organization is most likely the same laboratory that kidnapped you and your brother. After some twists and turns, I barely managed to find some information. In that laboratory, there are many people like you and your brother who have been captured. Moreover, all the experimental subjects are ranked according to their individual qualifications." "Graded?" Lin Yan frowned. She had been too young at the time, so she couldn't remember many things clearly. However, she vaguely remembered that every child had a label on them. Every once in a while, the label would change. Could it be that they were being graded? "Yes," the man replied. The man said, "Test subjects have different levels of aptitude. Your body's aptitude was originally very good. After the experiment, I estimate that your level has most likely reached level A. Of course, I don't rule out the possibility that they are even more ambitious and have even more terrifying test subjects above level A." Lin Yan shuddered in fear. "What about my brother?" "Based on my brother's condition." The man replied, "Based on what you've told me, your brother's qualifications were definitely at the lowest grade. If you hadn't been by his side to protect him, he wouldn't have been able to survive the competition with so many test subjects. Later, you told me that your brother was taken away by them and forcibly separated from you. Is that right?" "That's right." Lin Yan's back stiffened. She had a bad feeling about this. The voice on the other end of the phone paused for a moment, then said in a serious tone, "I understand that in that laboratory, everything below that level will be destroyed." His words struck Lin Yan like a bolt from the blue. "What did you say?" "Destroy." "Yes." So, it is very likely that when your brother was forcibly taken away, your brother had already been. Impossible. Lin Yen interrupted him agitatedly. The person on the other end of the phone knew that she couldn't accept it, so he tried to comfort her in a gentle tone. Don't be discouraged. Maybe the information I got was wrong. Maybe they took your brother away not to destroy it, or maybe your brother escaped like you. Lin Yen almost lost her balance. She stumbled and leaned against the wall as she muttered, "You're right. Everything is possible. Maybe my brother is lucky. That child was so kind that he couldn't even bear to kill an ant. How could God bear to treat him like this? I will continue to investigate for you. I will inform you as soon as I have any news. However, I advise you to prepare for the worst." Chapter 206. At the same time, at JM Corporation, late at night, the huge conference room was brightly lit. All the directors and senior members of the company had gathered, waiting for Pei Yuqing to give them an explanation. That kid. Does he really think that he's the leader of the Pei family? How dare he abolish the old rules of the company? When we followed Chairman Pei to conquer the empire, he was still wearing open-crotch pants. How dare he point fingers at me? No matter what, he has to give us an explanation today. That's right. Does he really think that he's the only one in the Pei family? 2/3 of the senior members in the conference room were scolding Pei Yuqing. Only a few of them were sitting quietly. Just as they were making a racket, the door was suddenly pushed open. Pei Yuqing had changed into a light gray suit and strode in unhurriedly. He sat down at the head of the table. "Sorry to have kept you waiting." Ching Imo sat on Pei Yuqing's left. The moment Pei Yuqing arrived, all the senior members reacted as though a bomb had been ignited. "President Pei, you're really arrogant. You came so late after we invited you." A plump director, who looked to be in his 50s and 60s, with a beer belly, said coldly. The director with white hair, who sat on Pei Yuqing's right, replied calmly, "President Pei, I'm sure you know why we invited you here today. All these years, we've worked with your father to build the company. Even if we haven't contributed much, we've put in a lot of hard work. Previously, you insisted on expanding the company and reducing the investment in the original projects. We didn't say anything because you were doing this for the sake of the company's development. But now, you promoted us one by one, and even directly stopped the projects in our hands. For this, shouldn't you give us an explanation?" As soon as this director's words came out, it was immediately echoed by the other directors in the same camp. Old Feng is right. Pei Yuqing, even if you're the president of JM Corporation, you have no right to make decisions on your own. Pei Yuqing supported his forehead with one hand as he listened to the board members' protests and questions. His other hand tapped on the table rhythmically as usual. He looked calm and collected as he listened to them patiently. At that moment, one of the directors who had been silent all this while could not help but stand up and say, "Director Qian, Old Feng, please calm down. Old Feng just mentioned the plans to expand the company's territory. Everyone knows that Boss Pei has a unique vision. As long as he has invested in new projects in the past 2 years, he has never made a loss. As for the position adjustment, it was just a normal personnel transfer according to the needs of the company's development. If you really want the company's development, you shouldn't only think about your own interests." The director who spoke was wearing a dark blue suit. His hair was neatly combed, and he had a rigid face. He looked like he was in his 40s, and he glanced at the troublemaking directors with disdain. Chapter 207. Ren Hongji's face flushed red. "You, Director Qian. Do you really want me to put it in such an ugly way? All of you have used your status and position to suck the company dry. You know very well that if this goes on, no matter how big the company is, it won't be able to withstand your actions." The moment Ren Hongji said that, Director Qian and Old Feng flew into a rage. They slammed the table and started scolding Ren Hongji. Ren Hongji, you need evidence to back up your words. We have worked hard for the company all these years. How can you slander us? This is too much. President Pei, you have to give us an explanation. That's right. Otherwise, don't blame us for alerting Chairman Pei. Chairman Pei has told you time and again not to touch our positions. I want to see if you will still be able to keep your position if Chairman Pei finds out about what you have done. These directors and senior executives relied on their seniority and the chairman's support, so they were naturally unscrupulous and continued to clamor. Recently, there had been rumors that Pei Yuqing had a serious illness, so they couldn't help but stir up trouble. Pei Yuqing also had a group of confidants in the company, but most of them were newbies. A few of them dared to stand up, but they didn't dare to argue with these people. Only Ren Hongji kept arguing with them. Cheng Imo, who was Pei Yuqing's most trusted confidant, didn't say a word. He merely watched these people expressionlessly, his eyes filled with sympathy and pity. Pei Yuqing had officially taken over the company 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Pei Yuqing's temperament had changed drastically. He had suddenly become gentle, and everyone's evaluation of him was that he was polite and gentle. No one could imagine what Pei Yuqing had been like 2 years ago. If they had known, they wouldn't have dug their own graves today. Pei Yuqing's fingers, which were tapping on the table, stopped. He raised his head and scanned the crowd slowly. Then, he said airily, "It seems like everyone has a strong opinion of me. However, there's no need to alarm father about this." Director Qian's chubby face twitched as he sneered. "Humph. Are you afraid now? Let me tell you, it's too late. We've already reported this to Chairman Pei. We're going to Country M to explain to him what you've been doing." Pei Yuqing's expression remained calm and gentle. "Everyone, please calm down. I have a solution that will satisfy everyone." The directors looked smug when they heard Pei Yuqing. As expected, this little brat still wanted to compromise. "You should have said so earlier." "Wait, don't make it sound so nice. Why don't you tell me what the plan is? It's useless if you can't satisfy us." Pei Yuqing grinned as a bone-chilling, maniacal expression appeared in his eyes. Yes, Ching Mo's expression changed as he studied Pei Yuqing. He was back, the man who had once made the world feel despair. Back then, Pei Yuqing had wanted to make the entire world feel pain. Then, it had danced in his palm. The higher-ups present would never have imagined how crazy Pei Yuqing had been in the past. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was a synonym for terror. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.